Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Bad Moon's Orbit. I am, as always, your war chanter, Dalton Montgomery.
And I'm Darian Smart, captain of the USS Enterprise.
Excellent. Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going green again. It's time that we talked more about our big boys in green. It's orc time.
Let's do it!
We haven't really talked much about our orc friends since our Gur episode, but I've been jonesing to do it, and we got a little taste of green with the Gits, but I'm happy to talk a little bit to what orcs have been up to since the Age of Myth, the Age of Chaos, kind of how they're doing into the Age of Sigmar. So kind of similar to our Gits episode, but it's going to be a little bit different.
Okay.
In actual game terms, orcs are all one like faction, like playable faction, but not really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Neat.
They have two super groups that basically you can't play together except in one kind of niche way. And so we're going to split those into two separate episodes. That's how Games Workshop basically treats them, so that's how we're going to treat them too.
Let's do it.
And we're not necessarily going to talk today. We're talking about Ironjawz. You know what we're talking about. You saw it you clicked on the title of the episode. We're talking about Ironjawz today. We're not necessarily going to do the other supergroup soon-ish, just because they're very different, and I don't want to load up on episodes for like Grand Alliance Destruction too heavily. So Cruel Boys is our other orc supergroup, and they'll come later. But today is all about the Ironjawz. So
game thing.
Game thing. Thank you.
I have one.
Oh, please.
So we recently, like as in the last week, we had a board game night with one of our friends. And we played Wingspan.
Yes.
And when I say we played Wingspan, I mean 75% of the group played Wingspan. And 25% was allowed to research her next mythology podcast episode. So my thing is the joys of parallel play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't like Wingspan. I think it's a lovely game. I see the appeal of it. I recognize why everybody else likes it. But I don't like this kind of game.
Yeah.
It's not the kind of challenge that my brain finds satisfying. I typically feel frustrated and overwhelmed. But I know Dalton and one of our other friends, Kelsey, and then Kelsey's girlfriend, who hadn't played Wingspan yet but had expressed desire to play Wingspan, all wanted to play.
Yeah.
So when we brought out Wingspan, a game I don't want to play, and Flamecraft, a game I did want to play, I said, if we pick Wingspan, I'm going to research my podcast episode. Not in protest. I would just prefer not to be asked to play Wingspan, but I'm totally cool doing a parallel play session where y'all play a board game and I get to sit and enjoy y'all playing a board game. And we did that. And it was great, and I got the whole Osiris episode researched, and it was great, and everyone seemed to have a lot of fun, and Kelsey won.
Yeah.
Much to my surprise, because I thought Dalton was going to win, because birds.
Because birds.
Also,
no.
Dalton knows how to play the game.
Kelsey came out swinging strong. Just a good reminder on like the benefits of being like open and honest communication. We all had a good time. No one felt compelled to do anything. And isn't that the best? Like, yeah.
And I definitely didn't want it to read as like me pouting or protesting the fact that we're not playing the game that I want to play, so I'm just not going to participate. It's like, in fact, I was like, actually, I would prefer it if y'all picked Wingspan. Because I brought my laptop and my Egypt mythology book and all my resources to research tonight because I knew we were doing general activities. So in fact, if you could play the game that I don't want to play, that would be awesome. I think everybody got what they wanted.
Yeah. I'm going to shout out. I've kind of fallen off because I beat it recently. But I've been playing Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Ooh.
Super good. Super duper good. I'm a huge fan of Super Mario Odyssey. It's the same team that made it. Huge like Donkey Kong fan. It feels like an excellent like evolution of the concepts we started with in Odyssey. And it's just a lot of fun. It's rare. I feel like the modern video game landscape is so tied up in like always online game or live service games or games that don't really do anything by themselves, but you can play them with friends. And those are all great. But sometimes you just want a game that's like well designed and does the thing it's trying to do. And then you play it and then it's over.
Yeah.
And that's great. I'm a big fan of that.
You're like, it was a fun game. I enjoyed my time with that game. And it doesn't have to be forever.
Yes. Not a fan of, I did the live service games thing for a little while and it's just mostly bad, I think. No shade to people who do enjoy those kinds of games, but I've come to appreciate an experience that can end.
Yes.
I think
a satisfying ending is the most unrelated thing we have in a media landscape.
Yes. Absolutely. But yeah.
So orcs.
Yeah,
let's talk orcs.
Yeah, let's talk orcs. Orruk is the Warhammer Warhammerification of the word orc. And let's recap orcs a little bit for people who have been with us since the start. Maybe you haven't re-listened to the Gur episode recently. Orcs are big, orcs are green, the true children of Gorkamorka, the god of destruction. They have that like purple and orange morality system, right? Where the most devastating thing to an orc is to let something wither and rot. They want to break stuff. They want to kick the sandcastle over, not just let the waves take it. They want to push the building down, not just let it fall to ruin. And that is sustaining for them, right? They have a weird relationship to death where they don't really mind that much because they reincarnate. And, like,
hey, is it the same guy?
Is who the same guy?
Like when they die?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because they die and then like the goo seeps into like caves and stuff and it produces youths. So one dead orc creates multiple new orcs is the first one.
What happens to their soul?
It goes back to the Great Green, which is basically Gorkamorka. It's kind of we get the implication that the Great Green is just like the all-encompassing like essence of Gorkamorka, and all the orc souls just are there when they're not in the world. And they just get he puts a Band-Aid on their cheek and he sends them back, basically. Repair that's kind of why they don't, because we talked about how every time a soul dies, it gets damaged, and that's what is causing like Stormcast to wear away. The reason that doesn't happen to orcs, it seems like, is because they come back to the Great Green and they like like
they just heal.
Yeah, exactly. They spend time in the Great Green to heal.
They aren't just getting sent back real quick.
Yes, absolutely. And then eventually they do get sent back. And orcs don't remember their past lives when they reincarnate, but they tend to have the same proclivities. They'll have similar experiences or personalities or even like compulsions.
Interesting.
We'll talk a little bit about, we got a guy in our famous faces who we're pretty sure we know who he's a reincarnation of, and we'll talk a little bit about that when we get to him.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, not quite the same person, but they have similar vibes.
How come the orcs get a pass on the Death World thing?
Nagash can't find their afterlife.
Okay.
He would love to like claim their souls, but he just can't. They don't seem to get anywhere near Shaiish.
Yeah, because it seems like they're going to. Because do we know for sure that it's Gorkamorka, or is that just like the okay?
Yeah. Well, we know it's either Gorkamorka or it's something he's himself like a part of. The Great Green is what the orcs call it, and it's the Great Green.
It's great. It's green. All things green is good.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, because Gorkamorka could probably beat Nagash in a fight.
Yeah, in like a brawl. It might
like
get tricky if it was like a magic fight, because Nagash is probably the strongest non-chaos god. Yeah. But yeah, in like a punch-up, absolutely.
Yeah, I think if you rolled up and tried to steal these souls, you'd have a fucking problem. Okay.
Yeah, it seems like orc souls like wholly bypass Shaiish. Like they don't even go near it.
Yeah, they don't even go there.
So it's not
they
Stormcast.
Go somewhere else entirely.
Yeah, it's not a Stormcast situation where like the souls are like slipping through Nagash's fingers and that's why he's mad. It's just like they weren't even earmarked for Shaiish, right?
Yeah,
they're just
that's not where they're
they
supposed to go.
Somewhere else. Yep. Orkiness is also just like a very weird magical thing that afflicts, like, or not afflicts, but like to be a part of like Gorkamorka and to be a part of orc makes you weird and kind of like orcs break rules is like a big kind of universal truth. So like another big one is necromancers who try and animate orcish bones find that they don't have any control over them. They just go back to acting like orcs.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah. So if you try to raise an army of like orc skeletons, they're just gonna start like, oh, what's this? And like go off and do their own thing again. Like they're just gonna completely ignore what you're trying to tell them because they don't care.
Yeah, because they're orcs.
Yeah. Even in the old world where magic was more like, and this is true as well in AOS, but it's not as like clean cut. But in the old world, like if you did magic in the old world, it was one of the 8 kinds of magic, right? Most people only had the lifetime to learn one kind of magic. Really capable wizards could learn multiple. Elves usually trained in all of them because they live forever. Like Teclis knows every lore of magic, even when he was mortal. Like that's kind of his thing.
That's his thing, yeah.
And so even in the old world, orcs didn't. They didn't cast any of the like normal types of magic. They just had their own.
Oh, cool.
And that was partially like a joke. It's like, ooh, okay, so like these are the like spells people have like come up with and discovered and like created, and those get like dispersed in a very like technological way, where like a death mage invent this spell, and then death mages elsewhere might learn it and be able to cast it as well.
Yeah.
And so you get someone who's casting, Ravenak's gnashing jaws of the wind of Gur, and then you get an orc who's casting Bigfoot, and it just an orc
Bigfoot
stomps a guy. Yeah, like, and so it's one half joke, but also like it communicates to that like orcs break rules. That's a core part of their identity. They just don't fall cleanly into these lines.
Nice.
Yeah. Orcs in the Age of Myth worked alongside Sigmar and the Forces of Order, right?
Yeah.
They joined in Gorkamorka's great hunt of the like big god beasts and stuff. When Gorkamorka split, when like the Age of Chaos dawned, and Gorkamorka got like Behemoth got knocked out. Gorkamorka got frustrated, didn't have his like hunting partner anymore. He just started rampaging again. The orcs joined in on that.
Yeah.
A lot of them kept true to their like, oh, we're gonna go fight chaos because that's the thing that we've been waiting to do, but many just were like, hooray, a fight, and just started doing whatever. And then at some point we get that split with the orcs and goblins, right, where I like the theory we've mentioned before, some people say they split because of the fight over the shiny spoon, right, is one of the things. I like the theory that Gorkamorka said you have to split so that you can learn to be without each other, because we've seen evidence of that kind of, right? When we talked about Gits, we talked about how now we have Git Mob, who are like Gorkier, like bigger, tougher goblins.
Yeah.
They're kind of learning to fill in that like role for themselves, not having to rely on orcs. And we see that in orcs a little bit. That's the other like super group that we're not talking about today. Cruel boys are morkier, they're cunning, they're like able to do their own like problem solving, they're good at magic, like that kind of thing that goblins would have normally been doing.
Yeah.
So I like that theory. Gorkamorka seeing the difficulties that would be ahead and being like, hey, y'all gotta split. You gotta learn.
You gotta learn how to operate.
Yes.
Function independently.
Yes. Be a little less codependent. Ooh, and I want to insert a note at the top of this episode that a lot of this lore is coming from Battletome, which is our like big army faction books. The general destruction disclaimer that a lot of this is from the perspective of a Hobgrot, which is a type of goblin who is hired by like a human Wildercorp hunter, who are like rangers basically. Just picture Aragorn. Hired by a human Wildercorp hunter to lead them through like orcish lands. And so we do get like destruction perspective, but we're still not getting orc perspective.
Yeah,
which is
okay.
like,
So this is like...
It's better than we usually get.
It's like if you're studying Egyptian mythology and you're like, oh, the most comprehensive story of Isis and Osiris we have was written by Plutarch, who was born 70 years after the death of Cleopatra the Seventh, and also the end of the Egyptian Empire or kingdom. And so we aren't really getting an actual Egyptian perspective on this core Egyptian story.
Yes.
We have someone who was close to the vibe, but not actually living the vibe.
Yes. So we get our orc split, like we got our goblin split, where we have the two aspects of Gorkamorka are Gork, who is brutal, and Mork, who is cunning. Our cruel boys are our cunning orcs, and our Ironjawz are our brutal orcs. Some like human scholars like the distinction because they do have a little bit like different physiology, and some scholars like to say like, oh, these are Gorruks, like Gork Orruks, and these are Moruks. But an orc who like leaves one group and goes to the other will just like kind of change physiology to like match the group. And so it's not like a really meaningful distinction. It's just kind of like what they're doing.
Yeah, it's a very human thing to try and like create hierarchy and distinction where there doesn't necessarily need to be any.
Absolutely. The orcs certainly would not make that distinction. You're just shaped by what you're doing. So what does it mean to be more Gorky? Right. So we talked about brutal cunning brutal thing, or the joke is that Gork is cunningly brutal and Mork is brutally cunning. So they still like have aspects of each other. It's a yin yang thing. In great good exists evil and great evil exists good type thing, but with brutal and cunning. But I've said this before on the podcast, and it's still true. I have always liked the terminology that Gork wants to fight and Mork wants to win.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I think that's a really strong distinction.
Yeah. It gives you a good idea of the actual kind of like psychology that's going on there. Because like brutal can mean a lot of things. A lot of what like cruel boys do is brutal. And a lot of what orcs like Ironjawz do is cunning. But wanting to fight without caring if you win and wanting to win without caring if you fight feels like the actual
distinction.
Big distinction, yes. Ironjawz start fights just to have them. An Ironjawz camp is just a huge brawl. Like there's very little time when an orc is just like resting in an Ironjawz camp because they just want that like experience of getting in the brawl, getting and dusting people up. And there's a little bit of hierarchy to it. You crump is the orcish word for beating up a guy. You crump an orc bigger than you, and people look at you with a little bit more respect. And now you're a little bit higher on the pile, and maybe someday you're boss. We have a quote from the book. If an Ironjawz isn't fighting, he's thinking of the best way to kick off a fight. It's very, So it takes a real big... So orcs kind of in their default state are just kind of happy fighting each other. They're not a huge threat if you stay away from them, but where that gets different is when like big personalities get involved who are able to direct the Ironjawz to do something. Right? That's kind of we have a bit of a bigocracy in Ironjawz.
That makes sense.
Whoever's biggest and fightiest just kind of is in charge, and that can change like moment to moment. It's a little bit of the same thing that we talked about with goblins, right? Where like loyalty is kind of on a per minute basis. It's just kind of whoever is giving me orders right now. But unlike goblins, where that means that they end up like backstabbing each other so much that just nothing gets done. For Ironjawz, it's like I punched that guy and he fell down, so I'm in charge, and I've got in my head in this moment that I want to take y'all over there and beat up like those guys, and that's how like
that's what's gonna happen now.
That's how orcs are as like a threat in the realms, basically. And it's usually not malicious. It's literally just like they're looking for something to do. Again, they don't understand. They got that purple and orange morality. They don't understand that like fighting isn't necessarily a thing that everybody wants to be doing. And so we get a little interesting psychology there. So one thing that I think people tend to not realize is that Ironjawz as a baseline so they're during the Age of Myth and a little bit into the Age of Chaos, we had just like typical orc, and they were a little bit smaller, they're a little bit lankier, they're just kind of the like default guy. And the reason we have Ironjawz is that the more an orc fights, the physically larger they get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so during the Age of Chaos, Archaon's forces swept into Gur, orcs went to the fighting, and we've basically like Peapod, like the orcs that are still like alive and around are the ones who have been fighting constantly, just kind of forever. And so the baseline Ironjawz is bigger than the old like normal orc used to be.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
They've been around.
Yes. Most orcs went that direction where they're just fighting all the time. Orcs who didn't, who dealt with the Age of Chaos by like kind of slinking off, using their wits to like hide in the swamps and stuff. That's where this split happens, is those become cruel boys. They're a little bit smaller than normal orcs because they're not fighting all the time. They're more hiding, and they're like lanky. They're not like really muscular. They're doing a bit of they have a real Lord of the Rings orc aesthetic. Which is, like a little bit skulky and all that fun stuff. So Age of Chaos like kind of inadvertently created the Ironjawz, a thing that I'm sure Archaon's just thrilled with. Talking about Ironjawz, the iron in their name partially comes from the fact that they are of the like orcish clans, generally the most like heavily armored, but as an expression of like, what it means to be an orc. Orcs have almost no interest in, or Ironjawz specifically, have almost no interest in like actual proper craftsmanship. Like it's just not what they do. There are exceptions. Orcs that leave the group and go live amongst other peoples will sometimes learn a craft, often as a way to like let out their need to like break stuff. But as a rule, Ironjawz do not like forge their own weapons and armor. They tend to steal their weapons, and then a rite of passage for a lot of Ironjawz is when we'll talk about like the different kinds of Ironjawz in a minute. But like like a step up the ladder from like baseline Ironjawz are called brutes, and the rite of passage for a brute is being able to punch your own armor into shape.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
neat. Yeah, neat. Cool.
That's kind of the, like, you get to wear armor when you can, like, do it with your hands. Like, is the interesting, armor punched into shape, weapons looted from foes or stolen off of more cunning orcs who can actually declare their own weapons. Even we have a couple of orcs there who are like mounted on stuff. Ironjawz do not engage in, like, cruel boys engage in animal husbandry and like breeding like bigger and scarier mounts and stuff.
Yeah.
Ironjawz capture all their mounts wild. They don't have any time for that. Even to the extent that a lot of times Ironjawz will capture a mount wild, like, for this fight, where they don't even have like a pen set up to like keep the ones they've already caught. They just kind of like, ooh, we're gonna go over to that thing, and on our way there, we're gonna go through this, like,
up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're gonna go through this big canyon where all the huge pigs live, and
we'll just grab a couple
jump
on
on
our
one.
way.
Yeah. So yeah, they do not. Orcs do not sew. Orcs do not build. Or Ironjawz specifically.
I was gonna say these ones at least.
Generally, yes, do not sew. They do not build. They do not tame. They just fight, and they love fighting.
Good for them.
Yeah,
I'm glad they have their passions.
Yeah. Speaking of those mounts, let's talk about some of the animals we find in the companionship of orcs.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Yeah. So we got two big ones mostly. We mentioned before the orcish language is entirely verb focused. So a thing is defined by what it does. An axe is a choppa. A sword is a stabba.
That makes sense. Yeah.
The little pig is a grunta. Yeah. He's a gore grunta specifically.
Okay.
And they are captured by, orcs like to capture gore gruntas by herding them into canyons. That's our slightly smaller pig there, is the gore grunta.
Oh, I didn't even see this guy.
Yeah, he's kind of hiding behind his buddies. He's also not as well. We're going to get the whole spectrum of Dalton painting skill, because my very first Warhammer minis were Ironjawz. And so we have the whole spectrum of me learning how to paint.
That's so good. I love that.
Yeah. None of my very first minis are here, because they're older sculpts. But Gore Grunt is definitely closer to the beginning than than the other stuff. It's got a little bit of dust
Dalton,
on him.
You gotta get a little toothpick, or not
Yeah.
toothpick, Q-tip.
Yes. Yeah, they haven't been very good for 4th edition so far, so they got some shelf time.
They don't get to come out and play.
No. Like I said, orcs will spook gore gruntas into like big canyons and stuff, and then they'll just like rappel down the sides of the canyons and jump onto their backs as they're running. Yep. They will, to try and slow them down, sometimes they'll put a bunch of orcs in the canyon, and they'll have so orcs are all compelled by this supernatural force called the WAAAAAAAAAAAAAAH that grows the more orcs there are in an area and as they fight. And they're aware of how that works. So like I said, even though Ironjawz are like, ooh, we're big and we're strong and we're tough and we're fighty and we're not doing any crafts or anything, they still like know how the world works. They still understand themselves.
Nice.
And I think
like that.
Yeah, I think it's telling that like one of the ways that they'll sometimes capture like a bunch of gore gruntas is they'll get a bunch of orcs together and they'll put them in the canyon that they're running the gore gruntas down, and they'll have them like brawl with each other, not just because they want to, which they do, but so that they are building up just this like big cloud of wah energy around themselves, so that by the time the gore gruntas actually get there, you have orcs who are able of just like putting their hands on a grunta's tusks and like wrestling them to the ground because they're so empowered
much of that, like,
by
energy. That's so good. Yeah.
So like they're still cunning, they're still doing stuff that like makes sense for them to be doing, and I think that's neat. It's a little, like I said, there's cunning even in brutality. Anyone who successfully jumps onto or grabs and like wrestles down a gore grunta is now a gore grunta rider.
Yep.
There's no qualifications required except that you are physically on a gore grunta. Yep. And then we have gore grunta's big cousins, which are maw gruntas. That's a bigger pig. Yep. You got that big mouth.
Big pig.
Yeah. Maw gruntas are related to gore gruntas, but they get much, much bigger. They're far too like destructive to slow down with a crowd or do like their kind of normal tactics. And so the go-to way of quote unquote taming maw gruntas is if you're already a gore grunta rider, you will try and get the maw grunta into the narrow passageway still, and then you will ride your gore grunta at the maw grunta at top speed, and when they inevitably just like crash into each other, you will fling yourself off of the
Just
Gorgrunta.
scramble.
Yes, yep. The term they use in the book is desperately try and grab onto a handful of fur while half concussed.
That feels accurate.
Yeah, and just cling desperately to this Maw Grunta, try and steer it kind of where you want to go. Anyone who does successfully capture a Maw Grunta, sometimes they'll figure out a way to get them to like calm down and stop moving so they can armor them, but a lot of times
I was gonna say,
a lot of the times Gorgruntas will just like ride up alongside a Maw Grunta while it's going and like toss. You can see there's like straps over the top of the armor plates. They'll just toss the armor like over the top of the Gorgrunta, and the guy on its back can like adjust and fit it. Because Gorgrunta or Maw Gruntas will just kind of run forever if you let them. And sometimes that's what orcs want, is just we're gonna slap some armor on it while it's moving, and we're gonna keep going.
That's excellent. I like that very much.
I'm a big fan. And then our last animal that orcs try to like associate, kind of the top of the pile of like prestige for an orc.
This big guy over here?
Yes.
This big old guy over here?
Yep.
This big bearded looking dragon motherfucker over here? Yeah, let me check this guy out. Did we tell the listeners that this is a mini episode and not an image episode?
Yeah. We have Dalton is a Grand Alliance Destruction player through and through, and so we had Gits minis 2 episodes ago by the time you're listening to this, and we have my Ironjawz minis this episode.
Dalton, the skin on this bearded dragon looking motherfucker is incredible.
Oh, thank you. I'm very happy with him. He got a refresh recently because he was my first big model I ever painted, and so then I went over and did another take on him.
Very good.
Yeah. That build specifically is one of our famous faces, but it's similar to just like a standard Warhammer likes to do, where you get a miniature kit. And it's like, ooh, you can build this as important named person, or you can build it as Joe Nobody.
Joe Nobody.
It's just a generic idea of the same concept.
This is Joe Warhammer.
Yes. But the height of Ironjawz creatures and the height of, impressive stuff for an orc to do is to ride a Maw Crusher.
That's exactly what you would call this thing. It is a Maw Crusher.
Right?
So big.
Right? Maw Crusher is a native to Gur. They are like, we've talked a little bit, we haven't put like a ton of talk into it, but one thing we start to see with dragons in Age of Sigmar is that most of what we call dragons come from like kind of different lineages of dragons, right? Like we have Dracothian, and Dracothian's kids are kind of like Azerian dragons. Like one of them is like a very powerful wizard, and they have kind of our classic like Western dragon look to them. We have examples of Ulgu dragons who are long and snake-like and kind of slithery because deception and shadows. And then we talked about Ignax and his mom, the mother of salamanders. And salamanders are what we call like fire dragons, Axian fire dragons in Age of Sigmar. Maw Crushers are Gurish dragons. This is a dragon, but it is also a beast, like capital B beast. This is a creature, top of its relative food chain.
It's like a wyvern, but also a wyvern that got fucking jacked.
Yep. They're too big. The honest to God in-universe theory for it, because they can fly.
I was going to ask, can they fly? Like they have wings.
They can. The in-universe honest to God, like scholarly opinion on why Maw Crushers can fly is that gravity doesn't want to tell them they can't.
Yes, good.
But yeah, they're just kind of big bat-like wyvern pugs almost. They're like bulldog energy.
Yeah, they've got bulldog energy to them.
Absolutely, just completely muscle bound.
They're like a dragon and a bearded dragon and a bulldog Rottweiler all got trapped in the fly machine.
Yes. So their throat muscles are so strong that their roars can physically hurt people. Ooh. That's like a big one.
Its mouth is very big.
Right.
It's not open, but you could just tell its mouth is very big.
Yes.
It's like the mouth part goes all the way back up here where the ear would be.
They got frog a little bit. Yeah.
There's frog
or just
going
like
on here.
big lizard mouth. Yeah. But yeah, bosses who are kind of at the top of their hierarchy will sometimes try and prove how big and tough they are. That, like I said, that bigocracy of like, I'm the biggest, I'm the strongest. Look at me standing on this huge, terrifying dragon monster. And the relationship between a boss and his Maw Crusher isn't often you tend to think of the like, ooh, me and my noble steed, and we trust each other and we work in tandem. That's not usually it.
That's not what's happening here.
No, they just kind of stand on the Maw Crusher, and the Maw Crusher wants to like go fight stuff and beat it up anyways, and the orc is also there.
It's like, I was gonna do this anyway.
Yep, you can see he's kind of car surfing on the back of him, and he's not like
to this back of this beastie.
Yes, it's just so that he doesn't fall off, but he can like run over to one shoulder and like swipe his axe at a guy, right? Like it's very orc. They don't care about it being like a noble relationship between man and steed or like the most effective form of combat. I'm standing on a huge dragon. Hell yeah.
Hell
like
yeah.
That.
I'm the coolest, I'm the biggest, I'm the toughest.
Absolutely. So yeah. So now that we've talked about kind of the beasties of Ironjawz, we're going to talk a little bit about the different types of Ironjawz. I'm not going to spend like too much time on them. I mostly want to talk about like psychologically what's happening, because I think that's where it's most interesting. Because like from a thematic and like a visual perspective, pretty much all Ironjawz are just an orc in heavy armor, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, that's awesome. I like that aesthetic. I self-evidently like that aesthetic because I play them and I have a lot of them and I have painted a lot of them.
Yeah.
But yeah,
crazy if you didn't.
Yeah, right.
Like, if you spent all this time and money on these minis, learning how to use this army, painting them to look cool, and you're like, I really don't like these though. Like, that'd be like, what is wrong with you?
Listen, there are some people, people who get too much into the competitive side of it. I'd say, actually, I'm not going to say too much because, you know, to each their own. Whatever makes you happy. But stories of people, you know, buying a whole complete army because it's the thing that's like 65% win rate like this month, and taking that to like 3 or 4 tournaments until it gets nerfed, and then selling it and buying the next thing that's high win rate. Like, people who just want to treat it more as a competitive thing that they want to do well with. Fair enough. It's just it couldn't be me.
How some folks would categorize doing well in this hobby is not the same across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that I think we talked maybe briefly at one point about the like Magic the Gathering psychogenic profiles.
Yes.
Yeah. Spike wants to win. That's fine. Like, totally fine. But yeah, let's talk about our different types of Ironjawz. So the baseline Ironjaw, more than just a normal orc, but not quite having moved up the hierarchy yet, is an Ardboy, like hard boy, but without the H, because Cockney. Yeah. That's going to be our buddy who's holding one axe up there. He's got a shield on one arm. Yeah, that's our Ardboy. Baseline Ironjaw, heavy armor. He's got a shield. He's got a hand weapon. Ardboys are too small and not strong enough to punch their armor into shape. So they're the only part of the like Ironjawz hierarchy that wears actually like smithed armor.
I was going to say, it's like, it looks very well molded to his form.
Yeah, it's because he made it with a hammer. Ardboys will practice like genuine blacksmithing. They practice. Ardboys are... It's interesting because Ardboys, as the lowest step on the hierarchy, are trying the hardest to act like a real army, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because probably they would instantly die if not.
Yes. They don't want to die. They want to get to a place where they don't have to care about that stuff. Like, every Ardboy wants to be a brute. But for right now, they wear real blacksmith armor. They carry shields, a thing that no other Ironjaw does, that they try and use for, like, real tactics. They have a big chip on their shoulder. They want to... Because they want to be brutes. They want to be bigger. They want to be stronger. And they don't want to just, like, be at the bottom of the hierarchy now and work towards that. They want to prove that they're already better right now. And so they're bringing, like I said, that's that chip on that shoulder. That's why they're bringing, like, real tactics and stuff to be like, we can do it just as good. all of that falls away by the way, the second they, like, get into an actual fight. The wah hits them and all their, like... again, it's a little bit of like like grim comedy is a thing for orcs a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something I've been, yeah.
Yeah, and so we have our boys. It's like, all right, we're gonna march in rank, and we're gonna have formations, and we're gonna talk tactics, and we're gonna get up there, and we're gonna put our shields up, and we're gonna jab them, and then the actual fight starts, and they're just wailing on people with their shields, and like because the wah hits them, and they're just going berserk. Yeah,
There's also very like British dry comedy.
Yes, yeah, it's the Monty Python sketch where the war reenactors, and they just all end up hitting each other with their handbags and in a muddy field. Yeah. Yep. It's very, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. One step up from an ard boy is a brute. That's that slightly bigger guy literally right next to him. Also an earlier paint job. Yep.
Sword and an axe.
Yeah. Brute swap out. By the time you're a brute, you're big enough to punch your armor into shape. You're big enough to not care what like about tactics and stuff, because you're big and strong and tough, and you can just fight it out how you wanted to anyways, which is like casually just go at it,
just punching people.
Bigger, tougher, meaner, enough said. Brutes love throwing their weight around. They love kind of being bullies a little bit, like they just take joy in the act of like leveraging their power. Their like consistent in-game rule is that enemy units that are smaller than them don't get to contest objectives.
Oh, really?
They're just bullying them. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, most brutes either swap their shield for another weapon or both of them for one big weapon. Just kind of depending on what they're doing. But bit of lore development we got only just kind of recently is that we have, besides kind of your baseline brute, which is just like ard boys become brutes, brutes might go on to become bosses. We also have two variations on like kind of your standard brute. Those are two unpainted fellas up there.
I was wondering if they were kind of newer.
Yes.
Is that why they don't have paints yet?
Yep.
How new are they?
Like a year and a bit.
Okay.
But Ironjawz also just isn't my main army, so stuff doesn't get painted as fast.
For sure.
Because I don't put it on the table as much. The one you're holding right there, that is a brute rager. So brutes put a lot of stock in that like sense of I'm big and tough, in that sense of like, ooh, I can handle any challenge, being real confident, being real like proud of their power. So any brute who runs from a fight or shows cowardice or even just like loses a fight people think he doesn't or shouldn't have, they might just like live in that shame, or if they're more of a mind to, they might choose to become a rager. They strip off all of their armor to show that they're not scared of nothing, and they swap out like their two weapons or their like big pole axes or whatever to just the biggest weapon they can get their hands on, so that they can just ride out and like, oh, we're going to be at the front of the line with no armor, and I'll show you how not of a coward I am. Like,
screaming.
Yes. Ragers are neat. And then the other half of that is, so we talked a little bit about the wah, how it like gets into an orc and like gets them like rah, like going. Usually once the fighting stops, orcs come down from that. They become a little bit more themselves. Sometimes they don't. Other orcs describe it a little bit like if you imagine an orc like a balloon almost, like the wah pours into you, it like stretches you thin and you're like kind of not yourself. You're just like, and most of the time it then like flows back out of you and you go back to normal and you're a little bit different. You're a little bit weirder, but everything's fine. Some people, the like lip just gets tied off.
And they're just that forever.
Yes, you start to wah and you just never stop doing it.
Okay.
Those people are called weird brutes. And they don't, like, sometimes they just go crazy and they start trying to kill everybody in camp and you just have to axe them. Yeah. But if they're just trapped in the wah and you can get them kind of like sorted out, usually what happens is a shaman will make a mask for them. It's called a weird brute weird iron mask. They'll imbue it with like wah energy to help like cancel them out. And then they will nail it to their face so that they can't take it off.
Sounds like the only thing you can do.
Yep. And that will help level them out enough that they are able to just like exist in camp without trying to like fight everybody. So that then you can take them to a battlefield and give them a hearty slap on the back and point them at the enemy.
Like, go get him.
Yep.
Go get him, tiger.
They're functionally very similar to like Ragers, where they're not wearing any armor and they're kind of faster for it, and they're a little bit more crazy, so they do pretty good damage. But the big effect of that is that in Age of Sigmar, supernatural protection is called your ward, and it's a game rule effect. Weird brutes have a 5-up ward. Statistically, that means every time they take damage, you roll a dice, and on a 5-up, they don't take that damage.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so they have about a 1 in 3 chance to just ignore any damage they take, because they're just so full of WAAAAA that you hit them and they just don't clock it, basically, is the idea. We already talked about Gore Gruntas, but I'll mention a special thing for Ma Gruntas. The one I have here is a Gouger. That's just a very basic, like, guy on a Ma Grunta.
Yeah.
Sometimes with that armor that they just like sling over the top of the Ma Grunta, they'll also attach little like sidecars to the Ma Grunta. Yeah, with orcs in them with like spears, so they can just like jab at people as the Ma Grunta goes past.
Absolutely.
And then really capable bosses who have more of an affinity for the beast thing, because like again, most bosses that end up on like Ma Crushes they're not like beast masters. That's just like, this is the biggest animal.
Yeah.
Orcs who get more into like, ooh, I'm a pig guy, I'm like, I like the animal, like I understand it and I relate to it, they might end up as Ma Grunta bosses, where they ride Ma Gruntas and they usually lead other orcs who like riding pigs, and they get their own
that.
Yeah. The collective noun for a group of Ma Gruntas is a stampede.
Yeah.
Or a hogalanche.
Hogalanche! That one's very good.
That one's very good. So yeah, I don't have those. I have those models, but they're not painted and they wouldn't fit on the tray. So just imagine them. Yeah.
Okay, I will. Looks cool.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. We got our... I'm actually going to do these in a little bit of different order than I have them in my notes.
Okay.
We have an Ardboy boss.
Okay.
Who's like right on the cusp of being an Ardboy and being a brute. That's going to be the guy who's like got a spear upright and he's holding a sword out like this way. Yep. That's him. Cool. Like I say, he's right on the cusp of being an Ardboy and being a brute, and he's hoping to make that jump by specializing in leading other Ardboys.
Oh.
He's like, I'm not just one of you rank and file. I'm going to teach you the ways of being like a real soldier.
Okay.
Ardboys who are near him get a little bit better at using their shields. They get a little bit better at their like tactics. They're a little bit braver because they got someone like, it's not a command relationship where the big guy's yelling at us to do something anymore. It's like, oh, this guy's one of us. He's kind of given us the business, having been in our shoes like very recently.
He gets it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like that for him.
Yeah.
He's a little bit of a rebuttal almost to that like all Ardboys want to be brutes thing, because like, for the most part, yeah. But this was one who's like, actually, maybe there is something to this, like, tactics. Maybe there is something to this, like, deeper strategy thing.
He's going to commit to that.
Yeah. I like that. We'll talk about mega bosses next.
Okay.
That's Bigfoot lad near the back there.
Okay.
He's got the big two-handed axe that he's in the, like, skull on his shoulder. Yeah.
Ooh, that's very cool.
That's the mega boss. Mega boss is about as big as you get as an orc, which makes sense. He's almost bigger than a troll. Yeah.
Put him next to one of the Ardboys, and that's a big guy.
Yep.
That's a pretty big guy.
Mega bosses have been fighting for so long that then they're like so attuned to the WAAAAA that one of their consistent in-game rules is that if they fight and kill an enemy model during the game, they get an extra point of health and an extra attack on their melee weapon. So it's not even the like, ooh, I've been fighting for a long time and I'm starting to get bigger. They're so attuned to the WAAAA. It's like, I'm fighting now and I'm getting bigger now. Mega bosses are kind of the ultimate in like orc aspiration. The guy on top of the Ma Crusha is also a mega boss, right?
That makes sense.
That's why that's just moving up when you're already a mega boss is what it looks like. And here's a little bit of out of universe trivia for you. The mega boss on foot was the first orc model designed specifically for Age of Sigmar.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
When the line first launched, everything else was like a holdover from the old world. The mega boss on foot is our first like Age of Sigmar orc.
This
like,
guy?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I also really like his nails.
Right. Thank
They're
you.
blue. I get that he didn't manicure them, and I'm sure they just naturally look like that. But like, I'd like to think that it's like dipped in metal, but like a specific. Like, we got to do our mani pedis first.
Yes.
Because if I lose my weapon, I have to scratch someone. I really
Yes.
need to be reinforced.
I painted him blue because I thought it was fun.
It is fun. You were right. I can also see, because this is talking about painting, and this is non-visual medium, so this is a terrible thing to do. But when you said, like, this guy earlier, who's the brute, and you're like, that was one of the first ones I did. And I could tell, I'm like, yeah, there's something with the armor that doesn't look as good. But I couldn't articulate what it is, because it's also purple, but there's something about it that's not doing it. But in other ones, it's like, there's dimension.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so it's very demonstrated that, like, in time you learned how to retain the dimension of the model so it doesn't get flatted out by the paints.
Yes.
And I just wanted to compliment you
thank
on that, because it is something that I noticed, although I could not figure out, like, yeah, you're right, that doesn't look as good, but why? It's still that purple and blue. And this one, I'm like, this one's doing the thing that this one's not doing.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's real easy to just slap one solid coat on a guy and call it a day, which is what I did because I wanted to play a game with my little guys. And now I'm like, I want them to look good while I'm playing a game.
It's like contouring.
Yes.
Especially if you're going to do, like, a body paint cosplay.
Yep.
You can't just color your face the one solid color and call it good. You're going to look real washed out, especially in photos. You still have to contour the shape of your face.
Yes.
So you look cool after all the fucking time you spent painting your skin blue.
There's a lot of overlap between makeup artistry and mini painting artistry. I'm told from my friends and coworkers who have wives, girlfriends that they'll often tap them as a resource to help them paint faces so that you get the contours on like cheekbones and stuff.
That's very good.
They come out looking good, and just not like one wash, like they're wearing clown makeup or just one base coat. But so not a ton about mega bosses. They're just the biggest and the strongest.
Listen, they look cool.
Yeah, they look great.
Like
it's one of my favorite
like,
models.
Dragon skull thing he's got.
Right.
It's probably not a dragon, but it's like
some kind of big lizard.
Big
or
lizard, and it's
yeah.
got like a bunch of eye holes.
Yeah. Some kind of gurish beastie.
Yeah.
I'm a big
live
fan.
where the trees can eat you.
Mega Boss on Foot is one of my favorite Age of Sigmar models. He's understated, but he's got a good pose, and
he's got presence.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we talk about our two like weird guys.
I love it.
So, I don't know if we've talked about a ton in Age of Sigmar before. Is that if you're doing magic, there's kind of two ways you're going about it.
Okay.
Usually you are either a wizard, who is someone who is using their own smarts and like capacity to like shape the winds of magic and create the effect that they want, or you are a priest.
Oh!
Yeah. And priests aren't really doing magic. They're beseeching their god to like...
You're like a cleric in D&D.
Yeah, exactly. You're not... usually you're not channeling like power directly when you're a priest. You're beseeching your god to do it, or you're doing a specific ritual will create an effect in that vein. But that distinction is woobly in Age of Sigmar intentionally, I think. Yeah, because like you can say like, oh, priests are doing god stuff, wizards aren't. But like in Skaven have wizards and priests, and their wizards are Greyseers, who are the prophets of the Great Horned Rat, and their priests are like a fringe cult who interprets him wrong.
Oh.
Yeah. And so we see that also reflected here in Orruks, where Ironjawz have both wizards and priests. Ironjawz have both wizards and priests, and that we see in that kind of an expression of that like Gorka Morka thing. Yeah. So let's talk about the priest first. It's the guy holding the bones.
I've been eyeing Bone Man this whole time.
Yes.
I love the color of the bones.
Thank
they
you.
have skulls on them, which is very cool.
I'm a big fan. I love that. That gentleman is called a war chanter. And I'm
Makes
a
sense.
big fan of him.
I
So
like the color you made the bones.
Thank you.
It's giving Scooby-Doo. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Very much so. I want him to be a little bit cartoony, but also a little bit eldritch. Yeah.
Yes.
War chanters are priests of Gork. They do not they don't really call out to Gork. They're not doing a lot of things we would associate with like religiosity, but they serve Gork through acts of worship, by which I mean fighting a guy.
Fighting a guy, yeah.
War chanters are just the most adept at channeling like the WAD generated from fighting into like magical effect, basically. Right? So like I said, you're not going to get a war chanter who's just like sitting back and like sending up prayers, he's gonna want to get into the fight. And he's gonna want to like
he's still an orc.
Yeah, and when he's in the fight, like I said, I like this. This is a new thing for 4th edition. But I know we talk about mechanics more often when it's like armies I play.
Well, that makes sense because you
yeah.
know them like intimately. To be like just spitball a mechanic from an army you don't know, it's not going to come up as naturally.
Yes.
And also, it would be like, I think it works this way, and that's not very interesting. But you can confidently speak on this field.
Yeah, and I try and only bring up rules when I think it's narratively interesting, and one I think is narratively interesting for Ironjawz is that, like how mega bosses, if they fight and kill a model, they get an extra point of health and they get an extra attack. If a war chanter fights and kills a model, he gets a prayer point, which is what priests and
point.
So what priests and Age of Sigmar use to cast their prayers, to chant their prayers. So he does have like his normal like hero phase who he's chanting a prayer to build up prayer points, but then also if you get him into the fight, he's gonna get his big prayers off sooner.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I also like the names of the like prayers he can do are mostly they're beats because he's a war chanter.
Yeah.
So he's got the get 'em beat where he's banging out a rhythm on those bones for like everybody to charge better.
Nice.
Or he's got the fixin' beat, which is a healing rhythm, and he's got the kill 'em beat. Which is everybody gets stronger.
Nice.
I like him. Like I said, he's a combat priest, and I think that's very interesting.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And then one of my favorite models, again, Ironjawz have a lot of my favorite models. They're just good models. But one of my favorite hero models is our last foot boy back there, which is our Weird Knob Shaman.
Oh, yeah. I've also been admiring the color of the smoke coming off the staff is very good.
Weird Knob Shaman knob is the orc word for head.
Okay.
So he's a weird knob shaman. He's got a weird brain.
That makes sense.
And I really like weird knob shamans from a storytelling perspective because we've talked about how he is a wizard, right? He's not a priest. So he's doing magic through his own like intelligence. He is shaping the winds, how he knows to shape them through like cunning. But cunning is a Morkish trait.
Yeah.
And he's an Ironjaw. And so if you look at his expression, like the reason weird knob shamans are weird and they're like counterparts on the like cruel boy side or their counterparts like with goblins aren't weird is because he's trying to do magic, which is an inherently cunning thing, in a brutal way. He's trying to force magic like to be Gorkish, and it has driven him crazy.
He also like the way this model is like physically posed is like looks painful.
Yes.
Like the way the legs are sprawled and this arm is like pulled back, it like looks like someone like Rictus.
Yes. He popped the cap on the big well of magic thinking he could just take it, and he can't, and it is like driving him mad. Which is why he's weird. He's right proper zany. But we get some, like I said, we get some cool wizards. He's not like a good wizard in the terms in like game terms. As one cast with no bonuses. But he does it in kind of an orcish way. Whereas like big game effect is if he's standing near a bunch of other orcs, he becomes a 2-cast wizard.
Oh.
So he is succeeding in a way in making magic like Gorky and making it brutal, but he's doing it through like mob magic. It's just like, all the strength of the orcs around me is letting me handle this extra magic power.
Nice.
Would he just have an easier time of it if he approached it cunningly? Yeah, it wouldn't break his brain. But he's not going to do that. He's an Ironjawz.
Yeah.
If he did that, he would be with the other guys.
And he doesn't want to be with the other guys. This is where he wants to be.
Yeah, they just have wizards that can cast twice without it doing anything to them because that's
just
who they are.
That's where they're at.
Yeah. So that's all of our, like I said, we don't have like a huge range in Ironjawz, mostly just because like what models they inherited from the old world are like a very tiny, like a very thin slice, and they've already been like replaced. That's a new Ardboys model. The old Ardboys model was just the like elite orc model from the old world, and they looked fine, but they need an update. And then most everything other than that is stuff that we've gotten new, which means that we don't have the old stuff to bank off of to give us like a wide range of stuff to use. Like warrior, like Archaon's forces, right, still have a bunch of their old world like warrior models because like their aesthetic hasn't changed very much coming to the new world, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we don't have like a ton of like Ironjawz models to talk about, but that's fine. So we talked about like what kind of Ironjawz there are, and I'm going to do a thing that we haven't done a ton of. We kind of did in the vampire episode, I guess, actually. But these are not vampiric dynasties, but I want to talk about the biggest like orc clans, like their cultural stuff, because I think it's neat that even in like the very, I think there's something really interesting you can do with a fantasy thing that is meant to be kind of simple, right? Like part of Ironjawz design space is that for people who want to play this game and they just want big and strong and hit stuff.
Yeah.
That's why Ironjawz are here. Like, but I think you can still tell really interesting stories with something that's simple on its face, right? Like, it's why I really like Khorne of like the Chaos Gods, because there's a lot of really interesting storytelling to be done with Khorne because he's like the mindless murder god. You can tell stories about how people react to that and how like they're shaped by that. And so in that, I think we find that mostly in like the different Ironjawz clans. So let's talk about the blood tuffs.
Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about the blood tuffs.
Blood tuffs are speed orcs.
Okay.
Anyone who is also familiar with 40k probably went, ooh, because 40k has an orcish clan that's all about going fast. And yes, the blood tuffs are meant to be kind of a fun like reference to the speed freaks of 40k. Orcs who just get into their head that the way to truly appreciate WAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAA
physically possible.
Yeah. That's a more compelling like thing in a sci-fi setting, I feel like. And so the Blood Tooths also have like stuff on top of that, where like a speed freak is inventing new physics to like try and make their plane go faster than light, just so they can stick their head out the window. And you don't really get that in a fantasy setting. So the Blood Tooths have other stuff. Blood Tooths are obsessed with going fast and going through realm gates. Novelty is what they're craving.
Oh,
they want to arrive in a place, do a big fight, and then immediately like ride to the next place as fast as possible, reduce the downtime between big fights as much as they can, and get to the next place super quick. And they don't want to know what the new place is until they get there.
Keep going.
Yes, they just kind of
Don't
blindly
stop.
rush through realm gates to find the next thing, which is fun. They're 1-part explorers, 3-part speed freaks is what I have written in my notes. The two like theories as to why they do that is they just want to see what's on the other side, which feels like the very orcish one, like, ooh, we want to go over here and oh, look what we found to fight. It's just a very like basic compulsion.
Yeah.
Or amongst orcs there is something approaching almost like a rapture adjacent belief of the great final WAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAA together and bash in like Archaon's front door and then just do whatever they want. Like,
fuck yeah, I like that. That's the end game.
Yes. Not all orcs are on the same page about what the Great Wall is going to do. Some of them are just like, I want to be part of the biggest party that ever happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually Archaon being a dick is a huge part of it. And sometimes it's because he's a dick, and sometimes it's just because he's the biggest target.
Yeah.
He's also very orcish. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're like, we want to have a fight. Who you want to fight at the biggest fight of all time that ends all the fights? Well, we want to fight the biggest guy.
Yep.
That's Archaon.
We want to fight the guy who killed the world. Like,
yeah, that guy.
would be great. And so one of the other theories is that some people say Bloodtooths rush blindly through realm gates because they're worried about missing the big wall.
Oh,
so they just want to be
they just
everywhere.
Don't want to be late.
Yeah. They don't know if it started yet, and they just don't want to miss it when it does start. So they're just rushing everywhere all the time. Sure. Yeah, which is very funny. Personally, I really like the idea that they're just like entranced by that like childlike wonder of like, ooh, new place. Like,
new place, yeah.
I think that's fun. I think that's very orcish. Bloodtooths are the undisputed masters of Grunta, I have in quotes, taming, where they actually have like procedures and structures for trying to capture like wild Gorgruntas and stuff.
Yeah.
They boast a spectacular 10% survival rate amongst people trying to capture Gorgruntas.
Is that higher or lower than everyone else?
Higher.
That's what I thought, but then I realized I just wanted to confirm.
Yep, there's always more orcs. They're so renowned for their ability to like capture and keep Gorgruntas that other clans will seek them out. Like it's often seen as a mark of prestige for like orc bosses if they are riding a Bloodtooth's captured Gorgrunta. They're kind of they're doing a Westminster Dog Club of
I was gonna say,
they don't breed them, but they take care of them better. They try and find the like Gorgrunta clans that are healthier and sturdier and stuff.
just tougher. See, I find that so interesting that the orcs would be cool with. It's impressive that you've got the tougher, stronger Gorgrunt, more
Gorgruntas are the little ones.
Gorgrunta, yeah. The Gorgrunta from this other one rather than getting it yourself?
Yeah.
Like, are they up front that they got it from those other folks?
Not usually.
Okay, that's what I was...
Or they'll sometimes claim they stole it, or maybe they did steal it. Because that's also a, like,
that
I
makes more
managed
sense.
to snag a Grunta
We
from
know
the
it's
Grunta
better.
guys.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, see, that tracks.
Yeah.
That one tracks for me.
The leader of the Bloodtooth's clan, he doesn't have a model. We have 3 like important orc bosses who don't have their own models, which is interesting. Because one of the clans we're going to talk about used to be led by one of our famous faces. But then he like moved on to other stuff, and now we have like a named character who does lead that clan now, but he just doesn't have a model. You can play him as like a mega boss on foot or whatever. But yeah, canon leader of the Bloodtooths is Boss Bracca Skullhorn.
Oh, good name.
Yes. He has let the clan's reputation go completely to his head.
Oh, no. Not good.
So he has declared the Bloodtooths not only the like preeminent Grunta like tamers and masters of like Gruntas across all the realms. He has declared his clan the one true disciples and carriers of the legacy of Shadatusk, who was a god beast, progenitor of all pigs.
Oh.
So, yes.
Oh, no.
So,
oh, no.
Yeah. So Boss Bracca has founded the cult of Shadatusk. It is a cross-clan spiritual movement about taming Gruntas and going fast to honor Shadatusk.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It is in tandem, and it's also worth noting, this is actually a good place to talk a little bit about orc worship, because that is not in conflict with their worship of Gorkamorka. It is in tandem with their worship of Gorkamorka.
That makes sense.
Orcs do not tend to view Gorkamorka as like a person. Gorkamorka is a force. He is a part of the world in a very fundamental way.
Yeah.
And so orcs find Gorkamorka in everything.
Oh.
And some of that's meant to be like a little bit of like haha comedy, like, ooh, I kicked this tower over and in the falling rocks I found Gorkamorka. It is meant to mimic the language of like spiritualism a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's funny because it's like,
because they're breaking shit.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's also like a kind of genuine like worldview, like the act of destruction is in all things. Things are coming apart all the time.
Yeah.
And like, I don't have to revere.
This chair I'm sitting in is coming apart.
Yeah. Yeah. If you could hear it squeaking, sorry
I'm
about
so
that.
sorry. I bought these uncomfortable chairs specifically because they weren't supposed to make noise while recording. But that was many years ago.
And so, yeah, orcs just see like, there's no reason why I need to follow this one guy, Gorkamorka. I see Gorkamorka in everything. And so orcs will often create these little like syncretic like cults around anything that they find to be like particularly big or particularly destructive or particularly impressive. So like big beasties will get like cults of orcs that just like follow them around because they're breaking stuff.
Nice.
Or like particularly destructive non-orcs will sometimes get like huge groups of orcs that just like hang out with them. And
how do you feel about that?
Varies.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a famous.
What are you gonna tell them to go away?
Right. There's a famous Gargant or giant named Otto Godswallow who has declared himself the greatest hunter who has ever lived. He's very Orion adjacent. And he has a huge following of orcs because he just goes and kills huge monsters.
Yeah.
And the orcs are like, hell yeah, look, he's like Gorkamorka.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Big strong guy killing monsters? Yeah.
Yeah. And so the cult of Shadatusk is like that, where they're like, oh, there's Gorkamorka in speed. There's a Gorkamorka in like trampling things beneath your feet. There's Gorkamorka in like the reverence of these huge beasts.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that as like orcish philosophy, as orcish like religiosity. Let's talk about the Iron Sons.
Okay.
The Iron Sons are Gordrak's original clan. We're going to talk about Gordrak in our famous faces, but needless to say, he's big and important. He's one of our most important orc characters. They are the largest Ironjawz clan.
Okay, cool.
Yes. They are very successful at fighting, which draws other orcs to them. Clan allegiance is not in any way like a genetic thing. You're not like born to a clan. It's just who you join up with. And so clans are very fluid. They like split apart and come together and like bleed into each other all the time.
Ooh.
Because an orc will just be like, oh, Iron Sons are doing something cool now. I'm going to go be an Iron Son.
Like, and everyone's just like, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like, oh man, I think I've really discovered a love for like gore grunts. I'm going to go be a blood tuff, right? Like, and it's just very fluid, right? Like, how would you even do, like genetic clan membership with orcs, right?
Yeah, right.
They
Exactly.
Yes. So the Iron Sons do lots of fights. They chalk up wins. Lots of people come to be Iron Sons, and importantly, Iron Sons they don't have any particular like philosophical hangups, right?
Interesting.
To be a blood tuff, you kind of have to like gruntas. You kind of have to want to ride gruntas everywhere.
That is kind of the point.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, you're just not being part of it.
Like, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But like, why are you here?
Yes. Like I said, no commitment to any zany battle philosophy or pet project. It's just if you're an orc and you want to throw down, welcome to the Iron Sons. And so that helps them remain as like the biggest clan, right? They have this huge reputation, so it's easy for them to recruit, and orcs just flock to them to be part of the Iron Sons.
Okay.
Yeah. Their leader used to be Gordrak, and like I said, we'll talk about Gordrak in our famous faces. But since he left, there's a orc named Dakbad Grotkicker.
Okay.
He has been part of the Iron Sons for a long time. He just wasn't in a leadership position because he frankly couldn't compete with Gordrak. Or we get an implication, like, we don't know how long the natural lifespan of an orc is, but we get the implication in something from Dakbad that it seems to be a really long time. Because the narrator of the book, that like ranger, when Dakbad's name comes up, he's like, oh man, my grandma told me stories of fighting Dakbad when she was in the Wildercore.
Damn. Yeah,
right. And it's like, oh, so for him to still be out here and kicking and like leading a clan is like, oh, okay, orcs live a long time.
Yeah.
But his main thing is just that he took over the Iron Sons when Gordrak left, and he's got a chip on his shoulder about it, where he always wanted to like take control of the Iron Sons over Gordrak, but he didn't get to do it by like besting him. He just ended up like leader.
Gordrak just bounced.
Exactly. And so now he's got a chip on his shoulder of unseating Gordrak as like this big important orc who's moved on to bigger things. Yeah. And then our last like big famous clan is the Chappas.
Nice. Nice. I love that.
The Chappas.
Get you the Chappas.
Yep. The Chappas are our weird cheese. We got our hard cheese, our soft cheese, and our weird cheese.
There you go. Yeah. And then, dear listener, that's how you put together a solid cheese board.
It's true.
You want a hard cheese? You want a soft cheese? And you want a weird cheese?
Yeah.
And this can be anything that you wouldn't usually find in your cheese drawer.
Yep. The Chappas are very much the huckleberry goat cheese of
That's
orcs.
what I was going to say. It's the huckleberry goat cheese. Don't raise your nose to a blueberry goat cheese. That's a gray weird cheese. And you want 2 cracker options, a basic one that doesn't have a lot going on, and then a little bit more of a fancy one. You can throw some meats on there if you want. I'm not going to judge you, but you want to add some color after that. Let's see, Dalton opened the store by accident. What I recommend are some berries, because they just visually break it up, because you're going to have a lot of blander flavors, right? Like, cheeses aren't very colorful unless you're getting some berry cheeses. So you just want some blueberries, some raspberries on there, really brighten it up, entice the palate, and you have a much better time eating it. Almonds, also a good choice, but just make sure no one's allergic to almonds. Yeah. That would suck.
Yes.
And that's how you put together a cheese board.
Absolutely.
And that's how you put together an orc army.
So the Chappas we just spent some time talking about like orc spiritual philosophy. The Chappas are an exception.
Interesting.
The Chappas kind of are a religious organization.
Okay.
And not in the, like I said, not that like personal spiritual way where they've just like found a big thing and they're like,
yeah,
like,
okay.
The Chappas have a like a organization-wide philosophical belief about like spreading conflict, basically.
Interesting.
It's not enough that they themselves want to be fighting. They want other people to find the joy in fighting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and especially like non-orcs.
Oh
right?
no!
Yeah.
Hey,
Yep.
oh no! It's a very ethnocentric worldview y'all have.
The Choppas are mostly made up of art boys because they're more organized, like structured anyways. And they're less taken by the WAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAA will just go into like town settlements and stuff and be like, we're gonna start fighting soon.
Get on
That's
board.
great. Yep.
Aren't you lucky?
Welcome to the club. Yep.
Oh God.
Yep. Probably one of the most weird things about them as a clan is like almost all orcs practice that bigocracy where I'm the biggest and toughest and strongest, so I'm in charge.
Yeah.
But not the Chappas. The Chappas are
Interesting.
led by a wizard.
Oh.
Yeah. So even further out of they're led by one of those weird knob shamans, and that's
Yeah.
probably part of why they're like a little bit zany, because they tend to be a little bit like weird in the head, right?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, like the Chappa, like a normal orc. Like attack is just like orcs are upon you and they're fighting you.
Uh-huh.
The Chappas will like approach your town, proclaim they're on a mission from Gork, and say they are doing the good work of disturbing the peace, basically. And then they will fight your town.
Yep.
Like ultimately, the part of the joke is that ultimately the end result isn't that different from any other orc clan like attacking your town.
That kind of just what's gonna happen.
Yeah, but the like eerie approach is what makes them notable.
Yeah.
Like people who live in areas where orcs tend to frequent are prepared for orc attacks.
Yeah.
But they're not prepared for a guy coming to the walls and being like, hello, we're here to negotiate. The thing we want is violence.
Yeah, I don't really know what you do after. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, right.
That's not an option.
No, yeah.
We'll be here tomorrow.
Yep. They're just missionaries. They're
Yeah.
they're
Oh,
violence
God.
missionaries. Yeah.
Yep.
Have you heard the good news?
Oh no.
You're all about to be fighting.
Aha! Hooray!
As mentioned, they are led by Boss Karak. He is an Orruk shaman. He's still listed as the leader of the clan, even though he's been missing for a while.
Oh gosh.
But he's been like riding the WAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAA
Yeah.
And so most believe that he's gone missing, but he's not dead. He's like fused into the WAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAA personally.
Interesting.
And just like talking his like philosophy of like everybody should be fighting because that's great.
Uh-huh.
Like he's kind of like a weird spirit of like conflict who just like manifests places and rants and then disappears.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's like a violence ghost.
Yeah.
Like a violence missionary ghost.
Yep. I have him in my notes as he appears all over the realms as a spiritual beacon to lead the Chappas to their next ordained fight.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, a little bit of weird like religiosity.
Like the goblins
yeah.
and the badmen.
A little bit, but just more or localized. Yeah. Because it's just
these guys.
Yeah. Just Khorne and it's just these guys. Quick mention of, because he's got like a weird amount of lore for otherwise not being like a huge player.
Okay.
We have another like named orc named Kragnos Hornsplitter.
Okay.
And I think there might have been like an editorial like weird with this. Because Kragnos' thing is that he is the leader of a group called the Boyz, which is distinct from the Cult of Shadowtusk or the Bloodtooths. But are also like an orc clan that are obsessed with gruntas.
All right.
But he doesn't have like a lot going on.
Huh.
Like he leads a stampede of gruntas. He just like goes around trampling stuff. And I think what probably happened is because he shows up originally in like a book that had like some army rules in it and like some like narrative like stuff going on, like advancing the overall narrative of Age of Sigmar. And what I feel like might have happened is that like someone in editorial went like, okay, we need a named like hog orc character for this book. And then they got most of the way through printing before someone was like, wait, we already have like a guy whose whole thing is hogs. And they're like, they're both here. They're both real.
Two of them.
There's two of them.
Interesting.
And we're going to keep talking about both of them in like books going forward because we don't want you to think we just like forgot about one of them.
Oh no.
Kind of feels like the vibe. Obviously I can't confirm or deny that. That's all specation, but it kind of feels like the
a little okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because like I said, Kragnos is newer and he's basically just our like Bloodtooth guy. but like less defined. Where he doesn't
Interesting.
have like the cultist speed. He doesn't have the. He's just like leading a big group of guys riding pigs.
Fascinating.
Yeah, but he's around.
He's just here. Okay.
He has his big thing. The reason I feel like he keeps like showing up in books and stuff, not like actual like narrative books, but just like rules reference books and stuff, where they'll be like, "Oh, here's an orc boss," is because he has like rules in the game currently for like a weird thing.
Huh.
There's a real quick rules discussion. This might end up getting cut, but when you're playing an army, like say I want to play Ironjawz, I could also choose to. They print in the books usually, like 2 variations on that army where it restricts what units you can bring usually, but then like specializes in those units. So like in Gitz, an example would be you can play a Gitz army where you have your trolls and your spiders and your wolves and everything all together, or you could play a Trug's Trog herd army where you have to bring Trug or Troggoth King, and then you can only bring other trolls.
Oh.
Yeah, but they get better, more unique bonuses for being an old troll army, but it's a trade-off. There's something like that in the Orc book called Kragnos Stampede, where you can play a list that's better for pig riders, but you can only bring pig riders.
Yes. Okay.
And that rule set came out in that book I mentioned, and they keep calling it Kragnos Stampede, and I think that's probably why we just keep getting stuff about him despite him having like no lore, is because they named a rule after him. So we have to keep mentioning him and other stuff. Where they could have just replaced him with what's his name from the Bloodtooths.
Yeah, who we already had and did kind of the same thing, but had more character.
Yes.
Fascinating.
But now that he's mentioned, we have our last part of the episode, our favorite part of the episode, our famous faces.
Yeah.
We're gonna start.
Faces.
Yeah, we're gonna start with our little famous face, Zogrok Anvil Smasher. That is
these guys right here.
Yep. This is the guy with the hammer and the tongs. He's got his little squig friend.
He's got a squig.
That's his squig Clonk.
Clonk.
Clonk is good. Zogrok Anvil Smasher is the Wasmith.
The Wasmith.
He is the rare Ironjaw with a mind for like actual craftsmanship, actual like blacksmithing, and that makes him unique. He overcomes that like mental hang up of like, ooh, craftsmanship is a like cunning thing by just focusing on making the most devastating stuff possible. He just like kicks the can down the road, right? Where he's like, oh, this is a brutal act. I'm making an axe with 3 heads.
Totally fine.
Yeah. The Great Wasmith. He has the power to imbue raw wa into physical objects as an act of destruction. That's kind of his shtick. Weapons blessed by him on the battlefield can slice through enemy armor like butter. And he has a personal weapon that he's not modeled with, because you can model him one of 2 ways. I like to model him with the tongs. But he has a personal weapon that cuts magical protection from its roots when he uses it. Yeah. That ward I talked about earlier, where like the weird brutes are so full of wa, they have a 1/3 chance to just completely ignore damage.
Yeah.
If Zogrok hits you with his personal weapon, you don't get to make ward rolls for that unit for the rest of the battle.
Oh, God.
So he just severs your connection to whatever magical protection you have.
Damn.
He's probably genuinely one of the most capable dispellers of magic in the setting.
That's really
because
cool.
of that. Because he could strip magical protections that other people just can't touch, can't get around, right? Just crazy. Zogrot's a bit of a character. Like a lot of orcs tend to fall into like either like joyful and like the act of destruction, or that kind of like superior, like brutes tend to be a little bit like, oh, I'm big and tough and I'm gonna lord it over you.
Yeah.
Zogrok's just kind of grim. Like he doesn't he's rarely seen like celebrating during battles or like hooping and hollering when like a fight's breaking out like most orcs do. He's the quote in the book is that he's almost eerily focused for an orc, always thinking about his next project.
That's kind of spooky.
Yeah, right. Pursuing destruction as a great planner might, right? Like it's not good enough for him to do a thing that's interesting and destructive now. He wants to plan the big one, right?
The big one.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about an event that happened somewhat recently in lore.
Okay.
Because it's important to Zogrok's characterization, which is the Siege of Fort Gardus.
Okay.
So Fort Gardus was a Stormcast fortress. It was besieged by a whole host of like destruction characters.
Damn.
King Broad from Gargants was there,
Uh-huh.
like our big important King Broad character. Kragnos was there, the new Gorgrunta guy.
Yeah.
And Zagrok was there. Zagrok helped actually win the siege because he got into thinking of like, oh, what would like a construction of destruction look like? And he basically invented orcish siege weapons.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, during the fight, Zagrok found his calling in siege warfare. The mindless bashing that entertains his peers is too simple for Zagrok. He loves the puzzle of tipping over the fortress.
Jenga.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
could just hit the table and the whole thing falls down, but isn't it more satisfying to pick the exact places where you take the bricks out and just watch it all crumble?
Yes. That is Zagrok's compulsion. So yeah, he invents honest to God orc siege weapons, all of which are like ramshackle disasters. Like none of them work well. Like they're gonna fire once and then fall apart or blow themselves to pieces.
The fast fashion of siege weapons.
Yep, and they're all like bespoke. Like he's not out here making designs that then like a bunch of orcs replicate and you have a line of identical catapults.
Yeah.
It's literally just like, ooh, someone pull that tree down and I'm gonna nail this like balancing arm to it real quick, and someone grab that like plant over there that's kind of stringy to use as like a pull lever.
There's nothing left to replicate afterwards.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's all in the moment.
So probably also by design, the destruction of the siege weapon itself
Yes.
would need to be part of like this entire systemic destruction over creation.
It's a beautiful symphony playing out where even your weapon tears itself apart as you punch a hole in a castle wall, right? Like
delightful. Yeah.
So that's like Zagrok's like awakening is the siege of Fort Gardas. And Fort Gardas falls partially because of Zagrok, partially because of Broad. And it
was a group effort.
Yeah, it was a group effort. But this is one of my favorite lines in the like book after Fort Gardas happened. One of the extremely funny outcomes of the siege of Fort Gardas is that it was such a huge event that like news of it reached like so far out from its original like origin point, like where people in other realms are talking about it. Like they're talking about it back on Azir because it was like the loss of like a big important fort. That word of it is spread to other orcs, and they know that like other people are talking about it, and so it's just like flipped a switch in orc brains of like, oh, that's an extremely impressive thing. If I did something like that, it would make me like big and cool and strong, and maybe boss. I get to be the boss. Yes, but they've taken the entirely wrong message from it.
Oh no,
which
it's
is
like movie
so
studios
funny.
after the Barbie movie.
Yeah. They've missed completely why it was so impressive, which is that Fort Gardas is a smoking crater now. There's literally nothing left of it.
Yeah.
And so now there's just there's a ton of orcs who are completely obsessed with attacking places named after people.
Oh no!
Because Fort Gardas is named after Gardas Steelsoul, our doctor boy.
Yeah.
And so how
does he feel about having a place named after him?
Oh, bad. He was there.
Yeah.
Oh, no. He didn't mind Fort Gardas because like, oh, it inspires hope in the people.
Okay.
I thought you were going to ask how he felt about the siege of Fort Gardas.
Oh, I'm sure he feels pretty bad about that. It just feels like Dr. Boy would be like, no, you don't have to name things after me. Like, that's not why I'm here.
He's very humble, but he also sees the value in like, this is Fort Gardas. It's like a beacon of hope in the darkness.
Oh
like,
no! Now it's a crater.
Yeah. Like I said, it's I was kind of saving it for the giant episode, but it's not like a huge thing. Gardas was at the siege of Fort Gardas.
Oh no!
And he fought King Broad, and King Broad killed him. So he's reforging in lore right now.
Oh shit!
So we haven't seen Gardas in a minute. Yeah.
Oh no! Our doctor boy.
Yeah, he's one of Gardas's quirks has always been that he takes like forever to reforge.
Probably trying to make sure all those pieces get put back where they belong.
That's my headcanon is that he's trying to cling to his doctor knowledge as much as he can.
Yeah, you can't rush this.
Yeah, and so that was the big climactic battle was King Broad versus Gardas Steelsoul.
Damn.
Yeah, did not go well.
No.
But yeah, so we have these huge like crowds of orcs who are just obsessed with attacking anything named after a person, which is both like, ooh, there's a whole string of like fortresses named after like important like human like settlers or Stormcast or
Yeah.
like
'Cause
Tekla
humans love to name
Centurion.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like elven settlements or dwarven settlements who are named after like ancestor gods.
I only recently found out that Bora was named after a guy,
Yeah.
a U.S. senator who lived in Idaho. Again, I just if you'd asked me what because Bora is a place
Yeah.
in school and stuff, and you'd asked me, hey, where do we get the name Bora? I probably would have guessed. Oh, is it like a local indigenous word for something?
Right.
Like I would like river or tree or something. Like I would have thought it was that.
Yeah.
But
It's
in
a safe guess
reality
in
is,
Idaho. Yeah.
but also we do as like humans love
Yes.
to name things after ourselves or other folks.
Yep.
As like an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you have that, which is like, oh man, like all the
Lots
forts
of
that are
targets.
named after people. Yeah, I have to like up their security because like orcs are swarming to them now.
What if you just change your name?
Yeah, it might work.
They probably didn't know that's why the orcs kept targeting.
I was gonna
them.
say that's part of the but we also have the extremely funny circumstance of like picture like kind of like an old westy style town where it's just like one road through and there's like a trading post and like half a dozen houses and a swarm of orcs just come through and they burn Dave's trading post to the ground or like Robert and Sons to the
Yeah.
ground and then they leave because they're here for the building named after a guy.
That was weird.
It's I love that so much because again they just got entirely the wrong
The
like
wrong idea about what
idea
made that
about it. Yeah.
impressive. Not
Yeah.
that it itself was an impressive location, but that people really care about places that are named after
Yes.
people. Which yes,
Yeah,
but no.
not universally. Yeah.
Yeah.
So currently in Dolor, Zagrot has attracted a very similarly minded cohort of orcs around him.
Oh,
Word spread of his like unusual fascination with like siege warfare and stuff. And similar to Dechapa's, we get a lot of Ard boys who are like haven't worked themselves up the hierarchy yet. They're not like says attuned to the WA. They can focus a little bit better.
yeah, and like that like siege warfare and like
Yes.
blacksmithing is a tactical element.
Yes, exactly. And so we get this almost kind of split in Ironjawz culture of the like classical way that Ironjawz like move up through the ranks and stuff of the like Ardboy to brute to boss to maybe you're riding a dragon now
Yeah.
into like, oh, there's also Zagrok starts calling his guys the Ironmongers.
Cool.
So you could also join up with Zagrok and learn how to build like catapults that blow up the first time you use them and like
Yeah.
pushing walls over with like battering rams instead of just like hitting them. Like
That's pretty solid.
it's pretty cool. Yeah, they want to learn these new siege tactics.
Tactics.
Taktikz
Yep.
is how orcs spell it.
Of course.
And the joy of Rube Goldbirding a fortress to the ground.
What a mood. Yeah, me
Yeah.
too, man.
Yeah.
That sounds so fun.
It's like one tiny blurb in the battle tome, which is the army rule book that I feel like people overlook, but that I am going to make a rare Bad Moon's Orbit called shot
Ooh.
on something that I think is going to happen in lore right now.
I love it.
So the most recent thing we know that Zagrok's done is he led the Ironmongers to a well-fortified Marathi temple fortress
Oh shit.
called Nathgar.
Okay.
Not one of their usual targets. They usually like to hit bigger forts. Like
Yeah.
Marathi temple fortresses tend to be a little bit more like secluded. They're
Yeah.
like, they want to be hidden more than they want to be fortified.
Yeah.
But they sieged it. They took it over. And while the rest of the orcs were like gathering like materials and stuff to build new siege weapons or just looting the best weapons or what have you, like in most of the fortress, Zagrok made his way like down to the like most heavily protected like inner sanctums, like,
Yeah.
almost as if he was like compelled by something to
Oh,
go
shit.
there. He smashed through the like warded doors and the like magical protections with that like expert dispelling like that he's capable of.
Yeah.
And when he got to the absolute inner sanctum, he found relics from the All Points. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
He found the leftovers of Marathi's plot to ascend to godhood.
Oh, shit.
Remember when she like tricked Sigmar to sending Stormcast to the All Points, and she like stole all of the Varanite?
Yeah.
Because she used it to like open the portal into Slaanesh.
Yeah, and got all those souls and made herself a goddess. Yeah.
He finds like the cauldron of blood down there that they used to transport that. He finds the Varanite that didn't get used in that initial ritual.
Oh,
he
shit.
finds like a bunch of stuff about like way opening and like ward breaking. And the last thing we have of him most recently is he puts his hand on like one of these relics, and a voice in his head says, "The boss has a job for you." And I think we're going to talk about what I think that means, because I think that we have a pretty clear line on what's going to happen with that.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about it as an extension of our other famous face.
Okay. This guy on the very angry bearded dragon?
Yeah. So our other famous face, y'all could have guessed it, listeners, if you are familiar with Ironjawz. Our other famous face is Gordrak, the Fist of Gork.
Perfect name. No notes.
He's a dual kit with normal, like Mega Boss on Maw Crusher. That's why I only own one, because
kind of big.
I play Gordrak, and if I want to play a normal Mega Boss, I'll just say that that's what he is.
Yeah, not Gordrak, but just a guy. Don't worry about it.
Just a guy.
That's Guy Warhammer. Don't worry about it.
Gordrak is the boss of bosses. He is the Fist of Gork. He is said to be the living incarnation of Gork's will.
Okay.
So he, again, it's all through secondhand accounts, so we don't know how true this is, but it said that he was not born like a normal orc is, where he is
a mushroom.
Yeah, was a mushroom and like grew up from another dead orc. It said that during the Age of Chaos, Gork got so mad that like the Chaos Gods tricked him into fighting, or that like the Chaos Gods returned at all, that he smashed a like big chaos fortress flat in Gur with his bare hand. Like literally just the great green fist of Gork like coming down and smashing a chaos fortress.
Nice.
But he bashed it so hard and he punched it so like thoroughly that he chipped one of his knuckle bones on the walls of the fort.
Oh shit.
And that knuckle bone embedded itself in the earth, and it was filled with WAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAA
for. Yeah. Okay.
That's the story that gets told. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well, damn. Then yeah, sure, man.
Yeah. Also, I want to mention real quick because I saw you pick him up and I realized I forgot to talk about him. Zogrok's constant companion is Clunk, the squig anvil.
Yep.
The anvil squig, rather.
Anvil squig, yep.
Who is just born with that mutation where he's got that big, hard, like, panel on his head.
Yeah.
That causes him a headache that he can only get rid of by bashing his head into stuff. And so he's the perfect companion to Zogrok because he just follows him around. And when Zogrok needs to do some battlefield blacksmithing, he just ting, ting, ting on Klonk's head and it relieves his headache.
It's like Hephaestus and Zeus.
Yeah. But yeah, so Gordrak, supposedly born of Gork's knucklebone, rose very quickly through the ranks of the Iron Sons to become their boss of bosses. Gordrak is an Ironjaw. Like, he's in the culture of Ironjaws. He's in the, like, he wears the big heavy armor and rides the Maw Crusher. But in more recent lore, he's really more of just, like, kind of the leader of orc kind. He's, like, not everybody recognizes him. Obviously, we got that guy who wants to depose him, and it's hard to get orcs to recognize any one thing. Is like their all-encompassing source of like, motivation.
They don't have a leader, but he's the closest thing is the leader that they don't have.
Yeah. He's more cunning than people give him credit for. He's the source of that. Like, way back in the Gur episode, I talked about the like preeminent orc philosopher of our time. That's Gordrak. He's the source of that quote I like of the, like, when he's talking to a Stormcast and the Stormcast is just like, why do you guys just like wreck stuff for no reason? Like, don't you see how destructive that is? And Gordrak's like, listen, you need us because if we let you, you would build so many walls around yourself you wouldn't be able to move, and then you would wonder how it happened. So like, you might not like it, but without us, you would be trapped.
I like that.
Yeah. He gets why he's not just out here for the joy of it, though he does enjoy it.
Yeah.
He gets why it's also important.
He sees the larger role it plays in like the ecosystem.
Yes. He suffered a pretty bad defeat in Gur, he attacked
Damn.
a city of Sigmar named Excelsius. That was a big like lore event. Like a bunch of destruction showed up to fight Excelsius.
Why?
Something about there's a guy who we're not going to really talk about, but his name is Kragnos. And he's a big centaur man, and he like incensed a lot of the destruction factions to fight. And like a lot of orcs worship him as an aspect of Gorkamorka because he's big and destructive, and he doesn't like that because he's not actually related to Gorkamorka in any way. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But he wanted to smash the city of Excelsius, and so just like a lot of destruction followed him there to do it. Though Gordrak specifically went to Excelsius to show Kragnos up because he doesn't like him.
You said he had a pretty bad defeat?
Yes. All of Destruction suffered a pretty bad defeat at Excelsius. Like, they failed to take the city, which is impressive because it was... Most of them were there. It was real bad.
Was this before or after the other siege?
Before.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Siege of Excelsius happened during the Era of the Beast. And the Siege of Fort Gardas was right at the end of the Era of the Beast. It was one of our last major battles of the Era of the Beast.
Okay.
Yeah. The Era of the Beast is... We'll talk about him briefly because I'm talking about Orruks, even though I don't like him.
Oh, no!
The Era of the Beast is the time in which Kragnos was, like, present in the world. Kragnos is a ascendant deity. He is the ascendant god of earthquakes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Him and his people, like big centaurs, were around during the Age of Myth. They fought a war against...
Why is this the first time I'm hearing about the big centaurs?
Because he's the last one.
Oh, so sad.
Yeah. He's the last one, and I don't like him, so I don't talk about him very much.
What happened to the big centaurs?
They fought a war against the children of Dracothian.
Oh, you're going to lose that war.
Yes.
Okay, go on.
They fought a war against the children of Dracothian. They were doing pretty well. Kragnos was kind of like ascending to become their like ascendant deity, kind of in the same way that Sigmar ascended to be like the deity of humankind. And then he got like trapped in a... I don't actually know much of the details.
Did someone put him in a box and throw him in the river? Because they seem to do that a lot.
Kind of, yeah. He got trapped like in a deep, dark like cave in Gur where like he got buried in and he just like couldn't get out.
Fuck.
And then by the time he reemerged, he found that like without his support, that war continued, and the children of Dracothian like wiped the rest of his people out of existence.
That's brutal.
It's bad. It's bad.
But we don't like this guy.
No.
Okay.
He came back. He is like, all my people are dead. It's a mixed bag because like he could be compelling and he's not. Is my issue with Kragnos because he comes back.
Most disappointing.
Yes, he comes back and he's like categorically an endling. He's the last of his kind.
I've never heard the word endling before. I like that.
Yeah, it is the scientific term for the last of a species.
Damn.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have learned that in Doctor Who and it never came up. Please continue.
He, like I said, he reemerges. He finds that all of his people are dead. Like they lost this war that he was actively fighting in because he got like trapped away from it. So he blames himself, but mostly he like blames the children of Dracothian. And
Yeah. Hey, who started the war?
Unclear.
Okay, I guess most wars kind of are.
Yeah. Are you the first person to think your war was justified? That's our Avatar: The Last Airbender reference for the episode. But he like goes on a rampage fighting like modern day dragons because it sees them as responsible for what happened to his people, which like no, because it's been like a long time. Like
These
that
are
happened
not
in
the same dragons.
No, that happened in the Age of Myth, and this is happening in the Age of Sigmar. So like hundreds of years have passed since then. So maybe some of them are the same dragons, but most of them certainly are not.
Okay.
And then like him doing that like big fight against dragons draws a bunch of orcs to him, and he's like, okay, like I don't care about these people, but they think I'm an incarnation of their god, so I'm going to use them.
Oh, yikes!
To get like what I want.
No good.
So he leads the siege of Excelsius. A bunch of orcs and like goblins and trolls and ogres and giants like flock to his banner because big destruction mashup.
Yeah, big fight. Yeah, awesome.
And he's like a new ascendant, or like a new re-emerging wild god, and so that pours Gurish energy into the rest of the realms. That's what creates the Era of the Beast, empowers everything that's like already like a beast or monstrous, including non-destruction stuff like Seraphon and all their dinosaurs get like a big boost during the Era of the Beast as well. The Bad Moon goes like extra crazy during the Era of the Beast because like destruction stuff's going wild.
Mhm.
And then Kragnos does the Siege of Excelsius. Him and Gordrak have a fight before the Siege of Excelsius.
Oh, damn.
Because Gordrak doesn't like him for the same reason I don't like him, which is an out of like narrative reasons. The main reason I don't like Kragnos. Destruction. So most factions have like a kind of leader figure, a character that you can bring in the Grand Alliance who is not of any one faction, but is just kind of the Grand Alliance as a whole, right? So if you're playing a death faction, no matter which death faction you're playing, whether it's ghosts or skeletons or vampires, you can bring Nagash in your army. If you're playing Order doesn't quite have it, but they have Gotrek Gunderson, the Slayer dwarf who can't die from the old world. He can join any Order army, which is fun. Chaos used to be able to do it with Archaon. Like Archaon would show up if you're a Khorne army or a Slaanesh army or whatever, because he's the ever-chosen of Chaos. And for a long time, Destruction didn't have that. And then instead of giving us anyone actually related to like destruction stuff, Games Workshop said, here's a centaur you've never heard about before. He's your big guy now.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why I don't like Kragnos.
Because that seems like a crazy thing to do.
Yes, it's for a meta reason. It's because we've spent all this time saying like, here's Gordrak, here's Skragrott, here's like King Broad. Here are your like big personalities in Order and the stories they told and the like ways they got to where they are and why they're important. And we're finally going to give you this big unifying model that all of Destruction can rally behind. And he's not going to look like anything in any of your factions, right? There's no centaurs in any Destruction faction.
Again, this is the first time I'm hearing about centaurs.
Yep. He's not going to look like anybody in any of your factions, so he doesn't fit in like aesthetically. He's not related to any of your factions. Like, he doesn't worship Gorkamorka like everybody else, and in fact, he kind of finds worship of Gorkamorka stupid.
Yeah,
like,
he's actively using this belief for his own gain and doesn't care about this race of people who are following him. That sucks.
Yep.
I mean, Nagash sucks, but at least he probably cares about like the ghosts and vampires and shit.
Yeah, and even on like I said, even on just an aesthetic.
Not like he cares about them in a nice way, but he cares about them being there.
Yeah. Like I said, even on just an aesthetic level, if I'm playing like a big skeleton horde, having the giant skeleton pope on my side of the table like fits, right? And narratively,
looks
aesthetically
cool.
Interesting. Whereas if I have like swarms and swarms of orcs also happening to have like a derpy looking centaur over here is worse. It just doesn't look good. Yeah. And like, his rules are good, so people play him a bunch, and like, I don't know. Like I said, I just like him for meta reasons mostly. His story is fine. I just don't like him. And like, his story could have been more interesting because we get a little bit of that. Yeah, we get a little bit of that on Wii, but then all he does is spend like the whole time trying to siege Excelsius and like kill more dragons. And then like near the end of the Siege of Excelsius, Marathian Lord Croak like trick him into a portal, and now he's just gone, and the Era of the Beast is over.
Okay.
Yeah, right. And also that didn't happen like in a book or anything. It's literally like we get a side panel about it in like an unrelated book. It's literally like Kragnos died on his way to his home planet, right? Like just like even Games Workshop couldn't care to write an interesting thing about Kragnos. Like that's what gets me, because I would be okay if he wasn't our big unifying model and he was just like also around and like also a character and like that, like I said, that ennui of like being the last of his kind and like joining up with Destruction because of almost like a nihilistic thing of like I just want to smash because I don't want to think about it anymore. That'd be one thing, and we just like kind of didn't get any of that. And then also sometimes if I want to play the armies I play correctly and like in the most like meta appropriate way, I'm compelled to play this big doofy ass centaur that I don't like, and that sucks for me on like a personal level. But that's
fair.
That's fine.
As we talked about, you spend a lot of time thinking about and working on your minis and your army, and so if the rules say, well, if you want to do these cool things, you have to have this derpy looking centaur that you don't like the look of or the narrative of, that's annoying.
And I'm not, that's not a universal opinion. Lots of people like Kragnos, that's fine, but like,
this is our podcast, so we don't like Kragnos here. I just learned about him and I don't care for him.
But yeah, so anyways, all that to say that Siege of Excelsius goes bad for Gordrak, and he comes to the conclusion, he has a talk with the big like leader of kind of the Cruel Boys side of it, where that guy's like, hey, like, if you want to be this thing, this like leader of all orc kind, you can't do it by just being brutal. You have to be both. Like you have to be brutal and cunning. And so Gordrak
because that is both of them.
Yeah, and he already was that. But
or both. Orcs are both.
Yes. And so Gordrak already was, but now he's like internalized it. He's like recognizes a thing he has to like work on and like front more. He can't just use his cunning to be an edge to help his brutality. They have to be like together.
Yeah, in unison.
Yes. Let's talk about, I have a side note here about his accoutrement.
Accoutrement?
First accoutrement. Gordrak's Maw Crusher is a named Maw Crusher. His name is Big Teeth. And he is like most Maw Crushes.
Do you in fact have big teeth?
Yeah. He's like most Maw Crushes. Where he differs from most Maw Crushes,
Hey, are the minis in scale to each other?
Yes.
All of them?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yep. part of the big part of the appeal.
The teeth are about the size of an Ardboy's hand.
Yep.
It's pretty big.
It's one of the appeals, is you can kind of like, ooh, this battle's like scale appropriate.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I made a lot of hay about like, ooh, most mega bosses who ride Maw Crushes, it's just like they both happen to be going to the same fight, right? Like there's no symbiosis there. Gordrak and Big Teeth are the exception. It's part of that cunning in his brutality. Gordrak has, honest to God, like gone out of his way to not quite train Big Teeth, but they're like on the same level.
Okay.
Is how I would, Basically, it's that Gordrak, quote unquote, tamed Big Teeth by beating him in a shouting contest.
And a shouting,
yes.
and they shout real hard.
Yes. Maw Crushes shout loud enough that in game their shouting is a shooting attack.
Nice.
And Gordrak beat Big Teeth in a shouting contest and just like pack alpha him basically. Like, I'm in charge now. I know you're like 8 times my size.
That's a scene from How to Train Your Dragon too.
Yes. Yep. I'm bigger now. I'm in charge. So when Gordrak's not riding him, Big Teeth's allowed to just kind of do whatever he wants, but he never does stuff that would like be against what Gordrak wants, right?
Interesting.
Like he's still destructive. Like he'll just like rampage through the hillsides, like kind of like a big feisty like bulldog. But he'll never like he'll fight other orcs if they like piss him off.
But he's not going to go eat an orc.
Yes, he doesn't go out of his way to fight other orcs. He doesn't go near like the grunta pens if they have some like penned up. He'll try and like hunt a field, and then when Gordrak calls him, he comes, which is not the relationship most mega bosses have with their Maw Crushes.
Yeah.
He's often seen puppy dogging orcs on the edge of camp, is what I see, because we have descriptions in books of like where he does that like cat thing where he plays with stuff.
Yeah.
Where he'll just like stalk an orc on the edge of camp and just like pin him to the ground and then like let him go, and then he'll like run off into the hills to hunt a moose or whatever. Like,
that's funny.
He's kind of playful.
How do the orcs feel about this?
Bad. They're scared, terrified.
I don't know. I feel like it'd be like, oh man, you got whapped around by Big Tooth and you lifted tail to tail. Pff, that's rad as hell. That's dope as hell, bro.
There's definitely an aspect to it. Mostly it's that they know that they can't like.
You can't actually fight them.
I was going to say, none of them are going to fight Big Teeth, because if they did somehow accidentally hurt them, they would be like strung across the walls because they hurt Gordrak's pet.
Yeah,
like,
can't do that. So you're terrified of it.
Yep.
Because it can whap you around, but you can't fight back.
Yep.
I see. I get that.
Such is the symbiosis between Gordrak and Big Teeth that during battle, Gordrak will just like fully leap off of Big Teeth's back to like fight on the ground.
Oh.
Like he'll just cut that like chain that he's attached to and leap down and like fight on the ground level to get like a better fight or to like challenge somebody one-on-one. And Big Teeth will just like pounce off to like fight over here, and then when Gordrak whistles for him, he'll just come straight back.
That's
so they
rad
can
as
fight
hell.
in like perfect like like Gordrak will like keep that chain attached, and Big Teeth will like flip, like do a flip in the air, so Gordrak can like hang down off of him and like slash and stuff.
That's cool.
Like they fight really well together, like, which is great. I'm a big fan.
That's so fun.
Gordrak's axes are named.
Of course.
His left hand one is Cunnin, and his right hand one is Smasha. Gordrak's twin axes, through which the voices of Gork and Mork whisper to him. Yeah,
brilliant.
Not hyperbole. Gordrak literally hears the voices of Gork and Mork.
Oh, wonderful!
All the time. Yeah. He doesn't always follow what they're telling him to do.
But he hears it.
But he always hears them, and he
Interesting.
makes really interesting like decisions based on that. So we only really have one book that like focuses on Gordrak. He shows up in Kragnos, like the novel about Kragnos, because he fights him. And it's unclear who would have won that fight, by the way. They get split up by Scragrat. Because he's like, we got other stuff to worry about.
This is not the time.
Yep. But Fury of Gork is the only book like actually about Gordrak. And we get his perspective a little bit. And we get stuff where, well, first off, in that book is one of my favorite, like, that book is not good. Sorry.
To be clear, not a good book.
That book is bad, but it's like our best look at like Orruk culture, and it's really compelling for that reason. It's just that the like plot's kind of nothing. The characters are fun. I really like I actually don't kind of like the villain. I don't think she's like particularly interesting. She's just like, I'm gonna get a chaos artifact for power. But I like part of her like entourage, because there's a Tzeentchian like cultist who like prayed to Tzeentch to have like companionship, and so Tzeentch split him into 9 parts, and all of them have different memories from one another, except they all think they're the original.
Oof, that's hard. That's
and,
rough.
Like they all get like killed over the course of the book, and as each one dies, the others get that one's memories back.
Fascinating.
Until like one of them at the very end stabs the other last one and is the whole person again, and it's revealed that was the original one. But the thing he lost when he got split was his ability to speak. So he's just been the like silent processioner watching all the others get themselves into trouble and get killed. Anyways, not with this.
That's pretty rad.
It's very good. But there's a bit in that book where like a Tzeentchian cultist has snuck into Gordrak's camp, and he's trying to like incense the orcs to fight, like Stormcast. Turn his enemies on each other. Stormcast are there to negotiate, which I think is interesting. Like it's one of our very first. This is where AOS is different, by the way, from like Warhammer Fantasy and like other stuff. Is that like orcs are weird, but the narrative tries to do stuff to humanize them anyways. Our first book about orcs in Age of Sigmar is a diplomatic mission. It is Stormcast reaching out to orcs, like as they are first emerging into the realms, to try and re-secure like alliances and stuff. They don't treat them as just a threat. They don't treat them as mindless monsters to fight. And our point of view Stormcast character grew up on Gur and like lived around orcs and like does stuff that like respect orcish traditions.
Ooh.
And like that's such a different thing than we're so used to with like the dehumanization of like orc-like characters in media. Right?
Yeah, like any I do another podcast about the inheritance cycle by Christopher Paolini, who's got Urgles, who are just orcs. Yeah. Right? They're just orcs, basically. And a running point in the podcast is every time and they are aggressive and violent, and this is very true, and they are a dangerous force that the enemy is utilizing to cause harm and fear, but so are the opposing soldiers. And so are the slavers we ran into in the mountains. And so is the not a sorcerer, shade. And one thing I do is clock who gets humanized and who is always a monster. And when empathy is shown to the Urgles, it is wrong. And I am fascinated by this because it does come around. Spoilers for the Aragon books, I guess. Eventually it comes around and they're like, nah, we want to join your side because we fucking hate Galbatorix. He's been a dick. And it's like, I don't believe that was your game plan from the fucking jump, Paolini. Right. I think this is you growing as an author and realizing, oh, actually, it's crazy that I gave this other race of inhuman beings culture, because one of the first things we get a description of them is one of them has a shield that has writing on it, so we know they are intelligent beings with culture and writing and communication. And I just read a chapter about how the dwarves use their horns to make their bows, and everyone is cool with that. There is no interrogation of this reality. And again, there's the growth on it, but it's like constantly clocking who is human and who is a monster, and is it the elves, the dwarves, the people who all look, humans who all look like people, and it takes us 4 books for the Urgles to suddenly get to be people too.
There's a really good bit in the beginning of Fury of Gork where we get the like Stormcast perspective. We have our like Lord Celestant Stormcast. One of the first things we get in the book is he is lifting a pole upon which he has like put an orc head on a spike. and we get one of his like soldiers comes over to him and he's like, giving him the business, huh? Showing him that we're here to mean like business, are we? And he's like, no, like I'm from Gur and I like know how orcs operate. Orcs put people's heads on spikes as a sign of respect, because if they were dead, they would want to be able to keep watching the fight.
That's great.
That's great.
That's great.
And it's an interesting reframing that also lets us keep some of the like aesthetic of that, right? Where like you picture an orc camp and there's like heads on spikes and whatnot. And like that's not a dishonorable thing. That's orcs filtering the world through their purple and orange morality.
It is not the disrespect, the desecration of the dead. It is actually an honor. I'm
doing you a kindness because I would also want to be watching the fighting if I like could. Yeah. And that other Stormcast is kind of cowed by it, but like they're on a diplomatic mission. Like this Stormcast is going out of his way to communicate to orcs, like, I know your ways and I want to like approach you as an equal. And we're going to have a fight about it because that's part of it. But when that fighting's done, I hope we could talk about it too. And that rips. It's very good. Yeah.
I think we talked about this ages ago, but the all of the figures and the races we've run into, like orcs and goblins, are the ones that are most like very physically not humanoid at all. They are more of your like big, bulky, bestial thing. And everything about them is meant to communicate. But they're not human though. Like they don't reproduce the same way humans do. They don't view the world the same way humans do. They are like this because not to akin to an othered race. They are just not human. But are still people.
Narrative goes out of its way to humanize them anyways. And that's awesome. But anyways, last thing about that book, in that book, I like it enough I put it in my notes. Like I said, we have that Chaos Sorcerer who's like in Gordrak's camp. He's trying to like whisper into their ears to like turn on the Stormcast and stuff. And we get a point where he's like using his witch sight to like try and suss out like orc wizards who might be able to like see through his illusion. And he turns to look at Gordrak, who's like sitting on this like just big pile of like weapons he's using as like a throne basically. And he sees Gordrak, but he's like obscured and he's like, what's obscuring him? And then he looks upward and the like hunched over figures of Gork and Mork are literally standing behind Gordrak and like bent all the way down to whisper in his ears. Like,
this is really happening.
Yes,
this is really legitimately happening. Like, this is not okay. Yeah.
It's just like that sorcerer has to like just like run and hide himself because his like mental state is so bad after saying that his illusion is slipping. Right? Where it's just like, oh no, God is here. And he is prostrated himself to whisper into the ear of this orc. Like, this is terrifying. I am in a bad place.
Oh no, this is so above my pay grade. This is so above my pay grade.
It rules. Gordrak hears Gork and Mork's voices through his axes. The axes used to be one axe named World Choppa. Which belonged to Gorka Morka.
Of course,
it was Gorka Morka's axe. After Gorka Morka like left the world.
So why is this not the guy that unites all the destruction factions?
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's literally his narrative. Like that's literally his thing. Is that like in the lead up to the Siege of Excelsius, we have a bunch of short stories of like Gordrak busts through the wall of a Gargant cave and he's got ogres and goblins and trolls and orcs with him. And like the giants go to fight and Gordrak shouts so loud that it rattles their skulls and he's like, you could fight us right now and die, or you could come with us to Excelsius. And the giants are like, yeah, that sounds great. And like, that's Gordrak. He's the champion of destruction.
The destruction gods are literally talking to him.
That's what I'm saying. And like, that's what makes me mad about Kragnos. Because we know why it's not Gordrak. Because he already has a fucking model. Because if they did Gordrak as the guy you can bring in all your other destruction factions as the like big unifying guy, they wouldn't get to sell you a new model shaped like a centaur. Right.
Here's here's the thing. I don't know a lot about minis, but I know a lot about fashion doll lines. Fashion doll lines are the lines. It's not like a Barbie doll where you have a Barbie, you can like buy Barbie clothes for her, right? It's like a line where you have all of the characters and they have the base characters and you have your regular ones. Like here they are all at school.
Yeah.
Well, now they're all at prom and you just resell that doll and now they're in pretty spooky prom dresses.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, well, now they're going to go to the beach and now it's everybody's in beach attire and you've introduced 2 new characters who are now being introduced. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like, you wouldn't buy if you already had them, but like, would you if they made a cooler version of the model?
Yes.
Like, would you not go and buy them if they're like, here's a cooler one? And I don't know, Big Tooth has gotten bigger now and he's got a different outfit, right? Like, I feel like we just fashion doll it and you just give us, because like, I don't need to buy another Catty Noir doll. I have a Catty Noir doll, but if you gave me one where she was in like a slick black cat themed prom dress, maybe I'd go buy another one of these dolls I already have because her hair is different and she's in a pretty dress.
I am not the marketing research department of Games Workshop, but I have always said, instead of giving us Kragnos, because they've done this recently with a different character, like spoilers for Khorne people. Khorgo's Skull, our like big important Khorne guy from way back when we talked about Khorne, very recently collected his like 8,888th skull and like succeeded in his like quest for Khorne to ascend to demon princedom, to undergo dark apotheosis. In the new like rules for playing a Khorne army that just came out, there are no rules for playing Khorgo's Skull because he is dead. He is ascending to demon princedom,
and we're about to get a new fashion doll of him.
We're just gonna get a new Khorgo's Skull model as a demon prince at some point. But his old model is just like an unnamed. He's like a grand champion of Khorne now. Yeah, it's just a generic thing.
You said this model can already be used to just be a generic guy.
Yes, I've said forever, and like I said, I'm not the marketing department of Games Workshop, and like there's probably someone somewhere who is like, ooh, people like our centaur design, and they'll buy a bunch of miniatures of him across all these factions when they otherwise might not like an orc or whatever.
But he's gone now, right?
Kragnos, he's out of the narrative, but you can still play his model. But you could have just, if you had done Gordrak like ascends to true like champion of the WAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAA and you give him aesthetic elements of both Ironjawz and Cruel Boys,
Yeah.
and our rest in peace Bone Splitters. They used to be a third orc faction, but they didn't have very much lore, and I liked them, but they were all old models, and so they're not really around anymore. But if you gave them the aesthetics of like all three of the like in-lore major orc super groups, and gave him just like a huge, like maybe just becomes like Gargant size because he's so empowered by WAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAA model, and if you already own Gordrak's old model, that's just a Mega Boss on Maw Crusher now.
Yeah.
Like, that would be cool, and people would have less issues. I would have less. I can't speak for people, but I would have less issues with Kragnos, the centaur who came out of nowhere that doesn't look like any of my other models.
And isn't like friends with any of these
no,
people.
exactly.
Like, it doesn't have no like emotional investment in any of them.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. They were, same wavelength. Like, I would have loved like true champion of destruction Gordrak as our like thing instead.
Yeah. And it's like, is it, I don't know. We haven't really talked about Age of Beasts. Did they do that because Age of Beasts was like, we got to put them somewhere to get people more invested in this plot?
Kind of. So every edition of the game is a different era. So we had the Realm Gate Wars in first edition, Soul Wars in second edition. The Era of the Beast is just third edition.
Yeah.
And Kragnos was the like flagship release
Yeah.
for like third edition. As well as that's when we got Cruel Boys. So Cruel Boys didn't have models before third edition. And they came out in third edition, and so that was also part of it. We got a refresh for Seraphon during the Era of the Beast, so they do theming mostly to be able to do more stuff like that. Like, right now in the narrative, we're part of the Hour of Ruin. That's Skaven have started doing more stuff.
Oh no!
And we have reasons for chaosy stuff to be resurgent and get new models and
cool,
all that fun stuff. But yeah, it's Era of the Beast was always going to be like the destruction focused thing.
It's weird that it didn't, even if it started with our centaur dude being like, here's the guy.
Yeah.
Why didn't it end with this guy taking over.
Right.
It's like, we're going to follow this guy who has no, like, thematic hooks in it, and it
Nothing.
fails because fuck this guy.
Yep.
And that's the point.
Yes. Sucks. Anyways. Gordrak's last couple things about Gordrak's axe. Sorry, we got pulled off. Gordrak's axe is a 1-to-1 axe. Supposedly, Gorkamorka stole that axe from Sigmar's throne room.
Good.
Which is very funny to me because it conjures the image of Gorkamorka going to Azir for a meeting. Right? Like they got into an argument and that's when he like nicked it before he went back to Gur.
Yeah.
Is the
like,
story.
Fuck you.
Yeah, so just this huge green two-headed god walking through the streets of Azirheim to go to a board meeting.
Yeah.
Like, is very funny to me.
And then when he's leaving, he has a big axe he didn't come in with, but who's going to ask him about it?
Yep.
Who's going to ask him about it?
Yep.
That's telling me to laugh.
But yeah, Gordrak split in two. The official reason is so it's twice as killy. But I think it also speaks to, like I said, Gordrak's kind of our philosopher orc. I think it speaks to his knowledge because Gorkamorka hasn't been one.
Yeah, Gorkamorka
he's
split
been
too.
Split. Yeah, so I think it's Gordrak being in tune with that. It's like I need the two axes so I can hear Gork and Mork's voice.
Yeah,
because that is the nature of them currently. But yeah, last thing we're going to talk about. This is the big thing for Gordrak right now, and it's where Zogrok's going to come back in on it. So after Excelsior, Gordrak gets in his head that he gets an idea in his head that he wants to pursue. So he goes to the gate from Gur to the All Points is the Maw Gate. It's called that because it is inside the mouth of a giant worm.
Of course. Very cool.
Gordrak beats up that giant worm, lures it into a trap, and then like chains its mouth open and takes his like army through the Maw Gate into the All Points. With the explicit goal that he is going to, and he has Ironjawz, he has Cruel Boys. Like I said, he's embodying that like champion of all destruction thing. With the explicit goal that he is going to march across the All Points to the Gate of the Heavens, which is the one that leads to Azir.
Yeah.
And he is going to bash it open so that he can go fight Sigmar to remind him what it's like to be a warrior god. To basically like reignite the spark in him of like, stop moping, like we need you back in this fight. Like
you know what? I wasn't on board, and then suddenly I was.
Yeah, right.
And suddenly I think he's fucking right.
Right? It's very, like I said, that's what I like about Gordrak, is that it's like a very simple...
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah. Where it's just like, oh, I'm going to go smash down the gates of Azir and fight Sigmar. And everyone's like, whoa, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, because he's in this. And he can't just mope in Azir because he fucked up that one time.
Yeah.
He should get out here and fight with the rest of us. Because I know everyone worships him as this big wall and city god now, but I know he used to be the hammer god who like united all these human tribes and kicked Nagash in the head. Like,
yeah, we need that guy.
Yeah, we need that guy right now. Like I said, yeah.
So this is the guy we're pretty sure used to be someone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna talk about that.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
But yeah, Gordrak being the like, oh, he's doing silly orc stuff. He's gonna go fight God because he's mad that he failed at fighting one of his cities. But like, no, it's a deeper, like it is that, but it's also this.
Yeah.
And that's why I like Gordrak. Gordrak is another one of those characters where people tend to deride him as like, oh, he's just the biggest, like fightiest orc, and he is that, but he's using that to like tell interesting stories. It doesn't end there. Gordrak, is the character we're pretty sure is someone from the old world. During the end times, they had the plan where they bound all the winds of magic to the incarnates.
Yeah.
And they did that through their like relevant gods. The biggest, strongest, toughest orc of the old world was named Grimgor Ironhide. He was born into captivity, escaped, led like an orc uprising against their captors, and then went on to lead the biggest, like mightiest WAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAA times.
Yeah.
And he called a WAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAA all of the wildlife.
Hey.
Because realm or wind of beasts, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's Grimgor Ironhide, and we were pretty sure that Gordrak is the reincarnation of Grimgor.
Yeah.
So, because part of
Yeah.
what Grimgor was about was that his like special unique troop, his like elite troops were black orcs, named for their distinctive black armor.
Yep.
And they had the biggest, heaviest, like toughest armor. When I talked earlier about how the old Ardboy model was a model from the old world, it was Grimgor's like black orc model. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Grimgor's personal bodyguards were called the Ardboys. Like they were a special like unit of orcs in the old world, in the Ard world. And now in the new world, that's just what like the Ironjaw foot troops are called. So Gordrak being the biggest, like strongest Ironjaw has like rippled from Grimgor kind of to influence Ironjaw culture.
Yeah.
Is kind of the idea. And then the big funny one, which is that prior to the end times, there was a fight between Archaon and Grimgor, where Grimgor won that fight by headbutting Archaon.
Yes!
And he broke the Eye of Shirian, the gem set into Archaon's helmet that used to let him see the future, and now it just like gives him like vague prophecies about the future because Grimgor broke it.
That's so good.
So the other like kind of jokey one, but also probably real, is that like Gordrak and Archaon have never interacted, but every time he comes up, Gordrak's like, I hate that guy. So it's like, it's probably because he remembers like hating him when he was Grimgor.
Yeah. I mean, they all hate that guy.
True.
But also, I don't just hate the idea of that guy or whatever.
Yeah.
I hate him personally.
Yes. So last thing, and the thing that ties it all together.
Yeah, because this hammer guy heard a voice.
Yes.
A blacksmith man heard a voice.
So Gordrak's going to the gates of Azir.
Yeah.
How likely is he to bash down the gates of Azir? Zero.
It's not happening.
Archaon's literally had control of the gates of Azir for hundreds of years and hasn't been able to get in. And he's Archaon. Like he has a man who has destroyed the world on his resume.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and so even the coolest orc in the world getting through the gates, no. Nothing. But Zogrok Anvil Smasher is maybe the most capable dispeller of magic in the realms.
This guy that invented orc siege weapons? Interesting.
And he is just recently in possession of a huge amount of Varanite, the Realm Stone of Way Opening.
Oh, interesting.
And yeah, like all of the relics and implements last used to breach open a portal into like Slanesh is now in Zogrok's possession.
Damn.
Yep, this is not a thing that has been explicitly spelled out. The knowledge that like Gordrak is going to the Gates of Azir is a thing that we got like before the current lore about Zogrok getting his hands on like all that stuff.
Yeah, because you hear the lore is he's gonna go to the Gates of Azir, and you're like, that's not gonna fucking happen. There's no way. And you get this other thing, you're just like, well, maybe there's a way.
The boss has a job for you.
Yeah.
So this is my big called shot. Age of Sigmar, like editions tend to go on a cycle. So first edition was Order versus Chaos. Second edition was Order versus Death. That's the Soul Wars. Third edition is Order versus Destruction. That's the Era of the Beast. Now we're into the Hour of Ruin. It's Order versus Chaos. I think they're going to let that steep for a little bit. We're going to get another Death edition in 5th edition. And then 6th edition is going to be Gordrak breaking the Gates of Azir. And we're going to get Sigmar afield again. He's going to get his fight with Sigmar, where he reminds him who he is.
Remember who you are. But in between each of those words, he's hitting him with the axe.
That's your patented Bad Moon's Orbit called shot.
I mean, I feel it. Like, they're setting up those pieces for it to be, like, a reasonable next plot beat. So that doesn't feel like it came out of nowhere and was unearned.
Yes.
But, you know, actual human beings are writing this, and some of those human beings need to prioritize making money.
Yep.
So that could always change if
change.
somebody runs the numbers and thinks people maybe wouldn't buy. People would buy a Sigmar figure.
Yes.
Even people who doesn't run Sigmar armies might go out and buy a mini and paint that bad boy.
And you know it'd be incredible, right?
Yeah, it'd have to be.
Yeah, a return of like snap out of your weird like self-loathing depression. I know you fucked up that one time. We
fuck up all the time
in the field. Like we need you because things are getting
human
worse.
Or fucking
yeah,
whatever?
Exactly. God of civilization, wake the hell up. Like because if you don't, there's not going to be anything for you to build walls on anymore.
Yeah,
right?
if you want to keep this, you need to fight for it.
That's such a good That would be so good if that is our like big thing for like where Gordrak's story is going, where he gets to be that like counter voice of reason to Sigmar's thing, and what he's always been, but that we don't get to see much from him because the narrative's stupidly focusing on Kragnos. I hate him. No.
Maybe that's what they're building to, and then after that, our boy will be big destruction.
That'd be
leader.
rad.
He's got to like really earn it.
I'd be way into that.
He's got the potential, but what's the thing that'll cement it? These factions that are the destruction with all their little like factions within it that are pretty desperate or disparate. Hey, you fought Sigmar and got him to come back to fight with us? Fuck yeah! And
it would mirror, because when Sigmar first woke up Gork and Morka, right? The first thing they did is they fought for 7 straight days, and then in that fighting found like companionship in each other, where the fight ended when they both just like fell over laughing because they had such a good time like brawling each other. It mirrors that, where that was like this is us like burying the hatchet and we're friends now, and this is Gordrak coming to return the favor. Like, you're not yourself. Like, wake up. Like,
come on, man.
Yeah, and that rips, and I hope they do it.
Yeah, I hope they commit to that. That sounds like they put the pieces up, or they could like run that and it'd be like, yeah, this makes narrative sense. This absolutely, if you're paying attention, it didn't come out of nowhere. This is great.
So here's hoping.
Here's hoping. That'd be really fucking cool. How long does cycles tend to last for?
3 years.
Shit.
Yeah, 3-year editions. Yeah, so if it does happen, it'll be 8 years from now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, unless they break cycle, because I say cycle, but we only have like one example. So they could break cycle and have 5th edition be a destruction edition, which I'd be into.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But
cool.
Hey, folks, that's the Ironjawz episode.
Hey, aren't you glad we split the orcs into multiple episodes? Can you imagine?
If you saw the title of this episode and you're like, oh man, I feel like Ironjawz are kind of simple. I wonder what they're going to find to talk about for that long.
That's so funny.
Surprise.
It's like you forgot that Dalton plays orcs.
Yeah. Hey, so that's the Ironjawz episode. Next episode you're going to be hearing is Night Haunt, and I know that with confidence because we're recording it today. See you next time the bad moon comes around. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.